You're listening to Game Day Exclusive. Everybody, is a fantastic morning, or afternoon I should say, at the City Ground. What an expectant crowd. City fans are here as the visitors, but at the City Ground the Nottingham Forest fans are in jovial mood. First of all, they'll be paying homage to their hero John Robertson, and of course Sean Dyche has brought a bit of bounce back, hasn't he? Everyone's really enjoying their football after a bit of a difficult start to the season, but today they're up against a Manchester City side who really are in fine form, and they're absolutely loving it as well. Erling Haaland, not only his goal-scoring record is impressive this season, he's got 19 in the Premier League so far, but he also is, it feels, Stuart Pearce, so he's contributing a lot more in terms of goal creation as well. He's not just the fox in the box. He is someone who is, affecting play so much more. And when you look at the style that he's playing in right now, you look at the form he's in, you look at all his attributes together, how do you think, how well equipped do you think Mourinho and Milenkovic might be to deal with him this afternoon?
Well, what they can't do, the pair of them, is cede any space behind them. Otherwise, he'll gallop into that is for sure. He'll set play up on the halfway line, which you've just mentioned there, and he'll get on the end of things beyond that. So it's important that Forest don't get caught on the counter-attack by City in any way, shape or form. And then when the ball's in the box, one of those two central defenders has got to bolt onto him and make sure that he doesn't get that half yard, because he's so clinical when he does. Yeah, not a second's lapse in concentration, right? The Premier League hoarding is up, so the players will be out very shortly. I just want to quickly ask you about Morgan Gibbs-White, Stuart. He was linked to City in the summer and to Spurs as well. They went for Rayan Cherki in the end. What have you made of his form at City? He started off very slow, but was that because of the uncertainty around Nuno, things not really working with Ange? What have you made of how his form has evolved this season, if you like? I've always felt with Forest, when he plays well, Forest normally are winning games and are on the top of the ground. When he's off form slightly, you can tell that in Forest's form, or whether it's, I don't know which comes first, his form and Forest doing well, or Forest doing well and he thrives in that. I'm not sure, but to be fair, I think if anyone's going to get the best out of him, I think it'll be Dyche. Yeah. I really do, and Dyche likes him, and to be fair, he's got to make sure that certainly in games like today that he's the ball carrier, from defending in a deep lying area to travelling with and without the balls through the central third of the pitch very quickly. Yeah, as you say, Morgan Gibbs will be instrumental, but as you say, Sean Dyche, what an impact he's had. He actually led Everton to an unexpected draw at the Etihad on Boxing Day last year. But his record against Pep doesn't make for happy reading. He's actually winless in 18 against him. That's a record that includes 16 losses. However, he has brought the good times back to Forest. He's so in tune with his club. He's brought back some belief. They've actually won 4 in their last 6 at home in all competitions. The question is, can they lean into that? Because they're taking on a Manchester City side who really are on the rampage. 3-0 wins in their last 3 games. One more would be a record in English top flight history, but of course 3 points would be enough today. This is a City side who have taken great pride in overtaking Arsenal in the second half of the campaign in recent seasons. How they would love to pile the pressure on the Gunners at the top and go clear just until 3 p.m. at least. How Forest, though, would love to pull 8 points clear of the bottom 3 as well. I don't know about you guys, but I have this ominous feeling that the Christmas Grinch is still in town. You just wonder who will ruin whose Christmas first. We're going to find out now in the company of the former England captain, Nottingham Forest legend, and of course ex-Manchester City man as well, Stuart Pearce, who's alongside Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Reshmin. Yes, welcome everyone to an emotional City ground where the last remnants of the turkey has been plucked. The mince pies have been demolished. The wrapping paper finally cleared away. Some of you may have already been to the tip. Not Stuart. But if your appetite for indulgence hasn't quite been sated by the festive feast, welcome to the main course of the sporting calendar. We are in the thick of the holiday schedule, shaking off the Christmas lethargy to finally get the chance to binge on what really matters, Premier League football. The City Ground is a crisp and cold venue this Saturday, December morning. Nottingham Forest hosting Manchester City, who know a victory can take them back to the top of the pile temporarily. For the visitors, it is a chance to burn off the calories and turn up the heat on the leaders. For Forest, the festive season offers few gifts, really, especially after being beaten at Fulham after a dubious call. And now they require grit, not little luxuries, to scramble away from the relegation zone. It's time to settle in because this starts a huge week of top-notch sport. And I've got a list, and I've checked it twice. Darts, rugby, cricket, EFL, and all 10 midweek Premier League fixtures. Don't worry if your ears are bigger than your belly. We can tuck into this football feast together. Two teams are out in front of us. Nottingham Forest in the Garibaldi red with white shorts and red socks. And Manchester City in their change strip grey with bright fluorescent yellow trim. The referee is Rob Jones. The VAR is Daniel Robotham. Before we start, we will pay tribute to the greatest player in Nottingham Forest's history. Created and scored goals that won them the European Cups in 79 and 80. A coach and ambassador, a Forest man, who was in the team that were promoted from the second Division 1 year and won the Division 1 title the next. There is a banner away to our right, paying tribute to the great John Robertson, that says, "Give him a yard of grass," and he was an artist. Well, Stuart Pearce, that banner goes on to say he was the Picasso of our game. An emotional day with Mull of Kintyre adopted by the Forest fans in that 77-78 title winning season, ringing around the City ground. And it has the feeling of extra emotion, which might just power the team today.
Yeah, it certainly does. It gives it, well, myself having known John and played alongside him, sends a tingle up my spine actually looking around this ground at the moment. But as you say, we're in a situation, John will be looking down and his heart will be with the boys in red, and hopefully they can deliver a result for him today.
We are by the banks of the River Trent. Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest precariously perched in 17th position, but a 5-point cushion above the drop zone is the biggest gap the bottom three has ever seen at the Christmas period, which is ominous for one of Stuart's other teams, West Ham United. And Amari Hutchison immediately releases Igor Jesus down the right-hand side, challenged by Ruben Diaz, who travels out into the left fullback position, commits a challenge which upends Igor Jesus. It goes out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. I'll go through the 2-11s for you in just a second, but Nottingham Forest are gearing up for a long throw early in the game. Attacking the goal away to our right, we newly christened John Robertson stand in red shirts and white shorts. Here is Nico Gonzalez, who's come into his own in the first half of this season in the Premier League in the absence of Rodri. Out to Reinders, the slender midfielder with a long sleeve shirt on, plays it to Gonzalez again, who swerves the ball out to the Manchester City right, taken on by Matthias Nunez, who travels up, releases it back to Bernardo Silva, and then gets it back out wide towards the far side of the right. In it goes to Ruben Diaz, who progresses the ball forward for Manchester City. A minute played, 0-0, live on Talksport. And Phil Foden, who's scored 10 goals this season and 5 in his last 6, in fact 6 in his last 5, even more impressive, sends the ball back into the feet of the Croatian central defender Josko Gvardiol, with his big, thick, bushy beard and shirt untucked around his waist. He feeds it into Bernardo Silva, and I think we've already moved into a familiar pattern where Manchester City will have a lot of the ball and Nottingham Forest will be doing their very level best just to keep them at arm's length for as long as possible.
Yeah, Forest will drop off into a deep lying role, as you rightly pointed out, Sam, but what Dyche will want from his team, once you're in that position, you've got to go after players. When that ball's in front of you, you can't let them rest on the ball. And at this moment in time, Forest have just been probably a yard off where he would like, I think, as a manager, his team to be. I think you've got to be a bit more aggressive on the press.
Rob Jones is the referee, and Andy Madley is the VAR. And Rob Jones has just blown his whistle for the first time in the match to give a free kick to Manchester City for a handball against Igor Jesus just in front of the centre circle. It's a nippy day down by the banks of the River Trent. It's with Manchester City over on the far side. City have been quick out of the blocks recently, boasting the best conversion rate in the league, scoring more open play goals than anybody else in the division. They know that a victory takes them back to the top of the table, even if it is only temporarily, before Arsenal play against Brighton a little bit later on today as we take you round the grounds with Adrian Darren from 2:30. It's good noise from the City fans who have made the journey down the motorway network here today. It's about an hour and 50 minutes from Manchester to Nottingham. Ball sent wide out to the right. The Portuguese Matheus Nunes travels down the right touchline. He's a couple of yards in from it when he plays it infield to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva back to Josko Gvardiol. From the centre circle, he clips the ball into the left wing position. Nico O'Reilly trying to get on the end of it. He stretches his left leg out to try and stop it from skipping out for a throw-in, but it goes straight out of play. And it is the Nottingham Forest throw in the right full-back position, 0-0.
Yeah, I've not covered City live for a few weeks, but I'm looking at them, and they've got a real, in my opinion, a newfound confidence and swagger about the way they're knocking the ball around, I think, as a team. You know, and Foden and Cherki in these sort of slightly deep line 10 positions, really, really wide, looking to receive the ball.
Hibernian have taken the lead against Hearts in the big derby at Easter Road. Jamie McGrath with the goal after just 4 minutes of that game. Hibernian 1, Hearts 0. Hearts top of the table going into today's game, but they are already behind against 5th place Hibernian by a goal to 0 up in Scotland in the Scottish Premiership. There's a big pack of Scottish Premiership games today, which Adrian will keep you up to date with throughout the course of the afternoon, including Celtic's trip to Livingston, bottom of the table. Lots of Premier League football for you to enjoy as well, as the ball is sent forward by City out towards the far side, the right, onto the joining Bernardo Silva, who tries to send the ball centrally via Cherki. It goes out of play, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Matheus Nunes, the guilty party on this occasion, trying to thrust it forward.
Just looking at Pep's body language down there, he's just telling his central defenders, when the two fullbacks go on and push really wide, make sure you're playing that diagonal ball from left centre half to right back and vice versa. And I think that's what he'll be looking for today.
And why would he want them to do that? To create extra bodies in the forward areas of the pitch?
Well, because Forest are defending so narrow. The two wide players, Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson, are tucking in nice and narrow. So where's the space? As we're looking now, there's that ball. Just seen it now from Gvardiol directly across field, literally the width of the pitch.
To Nunes, who tries to take it down and run infield, bundles into Nicolas Dominguez, who clips it clear up to the halfway line, looking for Igor Jesus. But it's won by the protector-in-chief now, Nico Gonzalez, who just sits in front of that back four, keeps things moving, but also reads the danger so elegantly. And he is getting up to speed more and more with the rigours and the pace and intensity of the Premier League.
See, Diaz is picking the ball up now, but he's just had a look up. Even though we're at distance, he's had a look up. Where's O'Reilly? Is he free in space? If he's not, we'll keep moving the ball. We'll be nice and patient.
Silva, Diaz, send a circle out to the right hand side now, and Matheus Nunes goes back to Ruben Diaz. O'Reilly does just sort of peel off towards this near touchline now and look for that diagonal ball, but it goes short to Gvardiol instead, and he travels over the halfway line. It's a short ball by Phil Foden, who gives it away, and Igor Jesus is starting to escape for Nottingham Forest, and he's fed Amari Hutchinson, the record signing, who travels down the right touchline, being pursued by Gvardiol. He turns out of a tight spot, gives it to Savona back to Amari Hutchinson again, gets it onto his left foot, produces a cross which is not the best, headed away rather easily by O'Reilly. Didn't get enough loft on that cross, Amari Hutchinson, but still Nottingham Forest have possession with Elliot Anderson. Guides it back to Murillo, and then further on to Williams, and now a first chance for Callum Hudson-Odoi to run at the City back line. He's got Cherki backpedaling, delivers a ball into the box, and Gibbs White is arriving late on the edge of the 6-yard box. He can't connect with it. What a chance, what a ball. He cut in on his right foot, arced it in towards the penalty spot. It landed right on the chalk of the white line of the 6-yard box. There were two in there, Jesus and Morgan Gibbs-White. Neither of them could find the finish. What a chance.
Well, both of them onside, and I think they've almost got in each other's way. Jesus has missed the first one, maybe a little bit too far for him, but I think he's managed to sort of divert the eye line of Gibbs-White that should have scored himself. And just going back to that tactical approach of that switch ball from central defenders to the opposite fullback, I think what it does, if you're a Forest fullback, all of a sudden you start to defend a little bit wider because you're looking for the switch, and all of a sudden that allows more space for the likes of the two number 10s alternatively, and even worse for Forest, Haaland.
Yeah, Cherki and Foden, you don't want to give them too much room in those advanced areas. Savona just keeps looking over his shoulder at Nico O'Reilly, who's hugging the touchline on this near side. Matthias Nunez is wide over on the far side, the right. It's Gvardiol bringing it out of defence. Foden dropping deep to hold on to it. Then it's into Nico Gonzalez of Manchester City, who have won the last 3 games by 3-0. Bernardo Silva makes a forward run into the inside right channel, takes on Dominguez, goes on the outside of him, then turns back again under a little bit of pressure as he reaches the penalty area, travels backwards, and then it's nudged square by Gonzalez, and it's then over the top by Gvardiol, who's just trying to pierce the back line of Nottingham Forest by dripping it over the top for Matthias Nunez to run into, but he didn't quite get on the end of it. It was a bit too heavy, and it's out for a goal kick, and John Victor will take it. We're seeing a replay of that brilliant ball in from Callum Hudson-Odoi, which landed in the perfect area, and Morgan Gibbs-White ended with his head in his hands. He couldn't quite believe he hadn't connected with that.
No, he couldn't. As I say, the only thing I can think of is Jesus has literally taken his eye off the ball by darting in front of him, but not probably, the best chance of the game so far.
Yep. History warns Manchester City against a little bit of complacency here. Forest won this fixture last season 1-0. That was a result that was in keeping with a rather outlier of a season for Manchester City. Things feel a little bit different now. They've won a throw-in on this near side, and Cherki's picked it up inside the area, and he's tried to scoop the ball over Victor. There's a little bit of contact from Milenkovic, and I think they're going to suggest that this is a corner kick. There was some suggestion that maybe as that ball went into the box, Milenkovic, after helping it over the top of the crossbar, connected with Ryan Cherki. Don't think there was anything sinister about that. In fact, I think actually the offside flag has gone up, so it won't go out for a corner kick after all. The referee just halting proceedings. There's going to be a goal kick away to our left-hand side. I mean, it did look like a corner kick, that.
It certainly did. In all honesty, I don't think the referee or the linesman actually knew what it was, so they were hoping for some sort of a guidance from somewhere or other.
Pep's not happy down on the touchline. He's having a word with the fourth official, just trying to explain to him that he felt that was definitely a corner. It's quite a befuddling decision from Rob Jones. Here's Gonzalez up to Haaland. It bounces off him and then rebounds into the path of Morgan Gibbs-White, who plays it against his own player, who's standing a yard in front of him, which is a little bit disappointing. But Savona sends it forward. Gibbs-White bending his run, trying to get on the end of it. It's smuggled away by Ruben Diaz and put out for the first corner of the game, and it's the Nottingham Forest corner away to our right-hand side, Stuart.
Yeah, it is. As I say, it was a great ball. Savona's played a wonderful ball in behind the City back line, and they had to deal with it. There's no way that's going through to the goalkeeper, and Gibbs-White's movement put the pressure on the back line. And you just get a feeling this is one of those games where the first goal, Sam, is going to be so important.
Set pieces, always a weapon that Sean Dyche is quite happy to use. Milenkovic has gone right underneath the goalkeeper. It's delivered to the far post. Jesus is trying to get there. Headed away by Gonzalez. Back in it goes from Murillo. Picked up by Foden, who tries to juggle with it. But Anderson takes control for Nottingham Forest midway inside the City half. And he was pretty impressive there, Elliot Anderson. He wasn't holding any truck with the idea that Foden was going to escape with the ball. Murillo forward. Picked up by Hudson-Odoi. Goes on the outside of Bernardo Silva. Down the left touchline. He gets challenged by Gvardiol. The ball goes out of play. And they're going to give a throw-in in favour of Manchester City here. And again, there's a few eyebrows raised about that decision.
Yeah, I think the wry smile on Hudson-Odoi's face, for me, if I was a referee, would suggest that I got that decision right.
The giveaway.
The giveaway. I may be wrong. Once again, Anderson doing extremely well in midfield, just clearing up things where there's a potential break on, and his value to Forest today especially is going to be vital.
Milenkovic's header forward. Won by Cherki. Tries to nudge it into the path of Haaland. It's smuggled out over on the far side. Murillo gives away a throw-in. 5 or 6 yards inside opposition territory. And Sean Dyche just standing on the touchline in his Nottingham Forest tracksuit. Very proudly wearing the Nottingham Forest tracksuit. He said he never got to wear the badge as a player, so he's going to do everything he can to ensure that he wears as much of the training gear as possible whilst he's the head coach.
When you look back at his time at Forest, what he wouldn't have picked up in regard to a playing career here, I'll tell you what, working and being part of Brian Clough and being around Brian Clough's probably served him really well on the touchline today.
A little bit like you, he does love that freebie stuff that they give you when you're in this coaching staff.
I taught him well, don't worry.
You're listening to Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly. Like Chelsea versus Aston Villa, that's a good game today live. Search now Sports. Here is Haaland being fed by Foden, but Murillo steps across before it can reach the Norwegian on the edge of the Manchester City penalty area. Savona wins it back and sends it long down the Nottingham Forest right. There's a mist and fog rolling in off of the River Trent, and it's quite an energetic start to the game from Nottingham Forest, who aren't allowing Manchester City to get into their stride.
They're not, but I tell you what, we've just seen a ball from Gvardiol through the thirds to Foden, who passed the ball further on to Haaland that got intercepted, and that in itself, if they're not playing this diagonal ball, which they've just done again from centre to out wide, they'll look to pick holes through the middle of you.
Gonzalez lifts it into the box after Nunez travelled infield, and it goes straight through to John Victor, the former Botafogo goalkeeper, who's making his third start in a row away to our left-hand side. Pep Guardiola travels back towards the dugout. Big, huge dugouts here, by the way, with huge aprons in front of them, where the managers can stalk and have their say. And the assistants can come out and add their voices to the cause. Steve Stone has just come out to the postage stamp of the technical area to try and encourage the team to get the ball forward up towards Jesus. Well won by Gibbs-White. Better used by Gibbs-White as he nudges it into the path of Savona, who, well, I'm not entirely sure if him and Amari Hutchison were on the same wavelength, but he's kicked the ball straight out of play.
No, they can't afford to turn up opportunities like that down to build attacks, Forest, because City, when they get hold of the ball, they strangle the game.
Yeah, you've got to retain possession in moments like that. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0 on Talksport. 16 minutes gone. Remember, later on we're taking you around the grounds. Anderson putting pressure on Gonzalez and then trying to turn it over. Anderson again as the ball runs back to Ruben Diaz, just forcing Manchester City back. Gvardiol now on the edge of his own area, drops the shoulder, takes on Jesus, manages to turn it into the path of Cherki, does a lovely little trick to weave his way past two, and then feeds the ball into Foden. Got a little bit of good fortune. Forest now trying to get back quickly as O'Reilly attacks down the left-hand side. Reinders takes over. It's a lightning break from Manchester City, and now Bernardo Silva approaches the left edge of the penalty area. A little back heel into the Dutchman Reinders once again. He helps it on to Gonzalez in the dead centre of the Forest half. He plays it wide, and now it's on to Silva. Silva trying to force them back. Gonzalez back into Cherki, round the corner for Reinders to try and turn, but he's been well marshalled by Savona this time. He used his body well just to hold off the advances of Tijani Reinders, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. We played 17 minutes, it's still goalless by the banks of the Trent.
City built a superb sort of semi-counter attack there. When it come out wide to the left, they've drawn Milenkovic out the middle, and for me, when that ball comes out and Milenkovic is out the middle, that's when that ball as a centre-forward's got to come in the box. City was so patient with their build-up, it never really come in anger eventually, and it fizzled out.
Sean Dyche doesn't have the greatest of records against Pep Guardiola. Not many people do, really. He's only beaten him once in 20 attempts, a solitary win with Burnley back in 2015. But Nottingham Forest did win this fixture last time out here at the City Ground, and they have possession here on the halfway line. Murillo to Anderson. Anderson looks up, feeds it into Gibbs-White. Lovely little turn away from Gvardiol, and he drives forward now. Gibbs-White, he's got space outside him for Callum Hudson-Odoi. He hasn't used him yet. He does now. Hudson-Odoi takes over, cuts in right-footed onto Nico Williams. He sets it back. Nico Dominguez takes over. Now Savona. And now they go down the right side of the penalty area with Amari Hutchinson trying to tease his way into the box. Crosses low and hard, but it's steered away by Ruben Diaz. But again, it's Anderson who picks it up for Forest, who are coming forward here in those red shirts. Down the outside of the penalty area, right side. It's Amari Hutchinson into Anderson, who swirls this one in towards Gibbs-White and tries to get on the end of it. Jesus threw himself at it. In went Nico Williams, and eventually Manchester City desperately try to get it clear, but they're hunting in packs, Nottingham Forest, and Milenkovic coming out of his slot at centre-back to go and chase O'Reilly over towards this near touchline, pushes the ball out of play, and it's away for a throw-in.
Yeah, so far in the game, Forest have not ceded any ground in that centre-back line to enable Haaland to get free in any way, shape or form. And it's just a case of making sure for 90 minutes that you try and make sure that is the case, but it's easier said than done against this City side, who are looking very, very confident at present.
Ball sent forward by Bernardo Silva. It should go all the way through to John Victor. And you have to compete. If you're going to play Manchester City, you've got to compete physically. You've got to make sure you get into them. You've got to make sure you try and unsettle them as much as you possibly can. You can't allow them to have the freedom of the park. They do that, they'll pick you apart far too easily.
See, that's the great leveller, really. You've got to make sure you win all your tackles, come out on top. Any physical encounters, maybe put a little bit more distance on your stats than they're on theirs. All those little things.
Headed down by Gonzalez in the middle of the centre circle. He was unchallenged there, and that was a little bit disappointing from Nottingham Forest, who had lifted the ball out from their goalkeeper away to our left. Now it's with Ruben Diaz, who looked as if he had a nice Christmas. I saw on Instagram this week. Ruben Diaz plays it on to Gvardiol. They all looked as if they had a good Christmas. Here's Reinders trying to play the ball to the edge of the penalty area, dispossessed by Murillo. We're allowed 3 days off, the day before Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day before coming back in on Boxing Day. Manchester City's players ahead of this weekend's games. Here is Cherki onto Haaland inside the area. His first time shot is blocked by Milenkovic, and that's how dangerous they can be. You're trying to get the ball away from your own penalty area. There looks like there's no danger. You misplace a pass. You give it to Ryan Cherki. He pops it straight into Erling Haaland on the edge of the area, and with one swish of his left boot, he's shooting at goal.
They're the big ones that Forest have got to get right if they're going to get a result in this game. If you give the ball away, as you rightly say, all of a sudden you relax from a defensive mindset, and then City are brilliant at playing through you.
City in possession once again. Remember, the PDC World Darts Championship continues over on Talksport 2 right now. Just download our app. You can flick between the two stations. You can listen to all the great action from Ali Pally and our brilliant commentary team there throughout the course of the day. We've got Prem Rugby from 5:15 today as Bath take on Northampton Saints. Usually a very good game. And then the evening session tonight starts at 7:30 on Talksport 2 of the PDC World Darts Championship. Also got Around the Grounds with Adrian Durham, Game Day Live from 2:30, and the Game Day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant from 5:30 this afternoon. It's a foul on Callum Hudson-Odoi over on the far side. And I've noticed as well, when there is the opportunity to draw a foul or the ball goes out of play, Nottingham Forest quite happy to slow the game down, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they are. Listen, I think if you come into the game today and you are Forest, you've been away, you've had a brilliant home result against Tottenham, winning. You've gone away and it's been a disappointing result at Fulham. I think Man City at home, you take a point in this game and you'd be absolutely delighted. Anything more, well, it's utopia.
Clearance by John Victor again comes back from Nico O'Reilly. Anderson's ball is intercepted by Foden, one by Savona in the right fullback position. He pumps it into the misty afternoon sky. Jesus can't hold it up, and then it bounces into the path of Foden, and then Cherki moving forward at pace. He's got Haaland to his right-hand side, tried to pass it to him, was intercepted by Williams, and then Murillo comes snaffling up to win the ball and take it out to the far touchline. Hudson-Odoi sends it centrally, didn't elevate it enough, and Nico Gonzalez managed to head it. Jesus with almost like a token gesture, thrusting his chest at it.
Token gestures right on 2 occasions there. He's the one that's got to fight tooth and nail to retain that ball, to give his team an opportunity to get up the pitch.
Yeah, just too many times the ball's gone up to him and he doesn't even look like he's going to hold on to it. And they've got to have some sort of platform on which to build Nottingham Forest as they reach the quarter mark in this 90-minute match in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. Live on Talksport. Arsenal, Brighton later. Brentford, Bournemouth, Burnley, Everton, Liverpool versus Wolves. West Ham versus Fulham. And 5:30 Chelsea against Aston Villa. Hibernian leading Hearts by a goal to 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts top of the table. Celtic playing a little bit later. Their closest challengers away at Livingston. And we've got David Tanner there today for that one, making sure that we keep you abreast of all the big action in Scotland as well. It is a fascinating title race there. Here is Bernardo Silva. Gonzalez. Engaged by Nico Dominguez, who's coming for Douglas Luiz today. And here is O'Reilly, and he's popped that too easily into Foden, who squared it into the middle of the penalty area. Murillo gets it away before it reaches Haaland. Comes back to Reinders, who swells it to the back post. And Matthias Nunez, who was coming in down that right side of the 6-yard box, just couldn't quite get on the end of it. And it runs out of play, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left, 0-0.
Yeah, Daichi just looking into his back line there. And Murillo, I think he was pointing out, well, both Murillo and Milenkovic, and just pointing to his temples, basically telling him, hey, concentration is what will win the game or get us a point today. If you don't concentrate, you could be in trouble. And just looking at that challenge by Murillo, he had to get that right, otherwise there's a penalty there.
Murillo is in the programme today, and he has written some rather wise words, by the way, which we'll get to at some point during the course of the commentary, because we were quite startled by his philosophical viewpoints. All will be revealed. Here is Anderson. Ball bounced up in the air, and then there was a late challenge by Nico Gonzalez. That's going to be a free kick, and Anderson goes to ground. It's going to be a Forest free kick, just 15 yards back from the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Anderson was going for the ball. So was Nico Gonzalez, but he was leading with his arm, I think, in the back of his head, and that's generated the free kick.
Yeah, good decision there by the referee, I think. Once again, a good opportunity for Forest to put a decent ball into the box. Anderson and Gibbs White over it, but what they've got to be mindful of is that counter-attack if there is a poor ball in.
Well, they have such good technicians at getting balls into the box here, don't they? They've gone wide, though, instead to Amari Hutchinson. His left-footed delivery is a good one in towards the 6-yard box. It's headed away. Comes back out as far as Dominguez, who tries to poke it goalwards. And it was dropping, but not dropping fast enough. And it goes over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick away to our right. And Donnarumma didn't have too much to worry about there. They decided to take that free kick out short towards the right-hand side and send it back into the penalty area from a wider position. Why was that the right idea?
In all honesty, I would like to try and explain, but I think it was the wrong idea. I wouldn't have done that. And Daichi and Woney are there in the technical area shouting Murillo in. He's gone so wide for the initial one, it was ridiculous. Now, why he's set up in a position like that, I do not know. You want to be in the critical area. You know the ball is coming between the goalposts.
I thought there might be something in it, but yeah, it looked a bit odd to me, and certainly it looked odd to you as well. And it wasn't quite maximised by Nottingham Forest. Here's O'Reilly down the left-hand side, travelling up to the midway point of the Nottingham Forest half of the field. In he goes to Guardiola, across to Ruben Diaz now, who tries to just bend the ball out into the path of Nunez, who sends a lovely cross into the box, which is headed away by Milenkovic. Wasn't a great header from Nico Dominguez. Gonzalez collided with him, but there was no foul there. And then eventually it's cleared by Elliot Anderson and high up towards Igor Jesus, who does a little bit better. In fact, this time he actually catches it on his chest and engages the defender, who brings him down, and that's a yellow card.
I think there's a round of applause from the crowd, for the referee, a bit of sarcasm, but more importantly, on that occasion, he's brought a ball down on his chest where he'd no right to actually get hold of that ball, and brought a foul for his team, and that gives his team a massive lift.
No yellow card for Guardiola. Had his arms all over Jesus and dragged him to the floor. The referee deciding that the free kick was punishment enough. I think Sean Dyche is entirely convinced. Free kick to be taken by Murillo on the cusp of the centre circle, inside the Manchester City half of the field. Haven't had too many goal-scoring opportunities, but Nottingham Forest have had probably the best of those so far in the game, with an effort which Morgan Gibbs-White and Jesus tried to get on the end of from a Callum Hudson-Odoi cross. Murillo's delivery is high towards Milenkovic, who heads it down into the penalty area. No one can win the seconds in red, and it's cleared away by Foden up over the halfway line.
Yeah, super ball by Murillo. Just left it up in the air and said, OK, the player who's best in the air will win this, and they were right.
Jesus has just held the ball up again and nudged it this time into Amari Hutchison, who sends it to Savona, who's low cross into the box. He's touched behind. And he goes out for a corner to Nottingham Forest off Guardiola.
Yeah, the last free kick, they've isolated Milenkovic, which is fantastic, and done the right thing, put some loft on the ball. He attacked it, but you've got to get players around him, because he can only head the ball down in a radius of probably 10 metres. Another opportunity to pop the ball in with Hutchinson.
Hutchinson's going to take this corner kick from the near side, and Milenkovic has just gone right underneath the goalkeeper once again to disrupt. He's almost in the goal here. They're pushing and shoving going on. Donnarumma getting involved with Milenkovic. Rob Jones going over to have a word. He actually didn't really get to grips with the nature of the Premier League of the first few games, Donnarumma. He started shouting and screaming at the referees, picked up 4 yellow cards in his first 5 games. Hasn't had one since, but the next one he picks up will lead to a suspension. More pushing going on inside the penalty area. Ball sent short to Anderson from Hutchison, who gets it back down the right side of the area. Tees it back for Anderson, whose poor ball is easily fended away by Manchester City. Murillo wins it back. Hudson-Odoi takes over on the left-hand side, and Nottingham Forest try to drive forward again. This is Igor Jesus of Nottingham Forest. 0-0 the score after half an hour on Talksport on this 27th of December. Some of you will still be feeling the after effects of Christmas, I'm sure. Here's Hutchison trying to keep it in right side. Miskicked it first time, but then won a corner the second time and did just enough to keep his team on the front foot.
Yeah, last time the ball's attempted to come in, Hutchinson's rolled it back to Elliot Anderson, but you've got to put a bit of love and sympathy on the ball at this time of goodwill, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
So he can come onto it and put the ball in first time. You put too much pace on the ball and it just kills the receiver. There's little things in the game that you've really got to make sure you get right in matches like this that are so tight.
There's more pushing and shoving going on involving Milenkovic, and now it's getting a little bit over-aggressive underneath the crossbar. Matthias Nunez has reacted. And Milenkovic is being taken over by Rob Jones. A little word in his ear, trying to calm proceedings down.
In relation to the game, this isn't a bad thing by Milenkovic upsetting a few in that box, trust me.
It's all part of the game, and he is trying to ensure that he disrupts and causes a few problems for Nico Gonzalez and Donnarumma. Corner kick down in front of us away to our right hand side then. There are 5 stationed on the edge of the box for Nottingham Forest. Jesus is maybe a little bit further towards the edge of the 6-yard box. The rest are under the goalkeeper. It's a poor delivery by Hutchinson. There was some pushing going on inside the area, but it doesn't really negate the fact that Hutchinson's ball was pretty terrible.
Exactly. If you don't get, you've got to get the delivery right. That is such a frustration. It really is. And it might be an opportunity for Forest to break the deadlock. So you cannot afford to get that wrong.
Milenkovic has stayed up from the corner. Once the return played over the top from Hutchinson, who declined the invitation to send him down the right channel. I mean, from what I remember of him getting sent off in Belgrade, he hasn't got the greatest of pace, so I wasn't fancying him against Nico O'Reilly down that right side, but you never know.
I think that Hutchinson's just got to be a bit more forthright in the game. He looks as though he's playing the game, but he's a little bit timid within the game, isn't he? In his body language and what he does with the ball. It's almost, come on, hey, don't let a game slip by you. Otherwise, you're going to go out the team.
Yeah, it's the Premier League. You're listening to Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Yes, his ball's just a little bit tentative, a little bit timid in his decision-making. I suppose that was a prime example with Milenkovic offering the opportunity to run in behind, and he decided instead to keep the ball. Here is Ruben Diaz out to the left and O'Reilly. Lovely little touch to Foden, and then Milenkovic goes across, manages to smash it clear off the back of the England man. It goes out for a throw-in to Sean Dyche's side down in front of us. It's still 0-0 on Talksport. We played nearly 33 minutes, and there is more live commentaries for you throughout the course of next week. We've got an absolutely mammoth midweek programme. Tuesday night, how do you like it? There are 6 live games live on Talksport, Talksport 2, Talk Radio and the Talksport app. Arsenal against Aston Villa, probably the pick of the bunch, 8:15 on Tuesday night. What a game that promises to be. Chelsea taking on Bournemouth the same night. West Ham Brighton the same night. Manchester United against Wolves. And then Thursday, the 1st of January, New Year's Day. What a corker we've got for you at 5:30. Liverpool Leeds and Crystal Palace Fulham at the same time on 2. Brentford Tottenham and Sunderland Man City. Brilliant. Plus Blackburn Wrexham in the Championship. And Game Day Live taking you round the grounds with Adrian Durham. So a full service over the course of the next few weeks. We're actually offering 50 live commentaries on Talksport, Talksport 2, the app, and Talk Radio over the festive period. Here is Nico O'Reilly. Infield it goes to Gvardiol. And then he travels forward. Plays it down the left for Reinders. Reinders now accelerates, gets to the edge of the area for Manchester City. Good tackle out by Anderson. Robs him on the edge of the box, and now Forest have possession deep inside their own territory. And what they have done brilliantly, I think, is that they've not allowed Erling Haaland to have a kick in the game so far, Nottingham Forest, and they've restricted any real chance that Manchester City have to create anything going forward. But they have Phil Foden on the ball now, and his shot from the edge of the area is blocked by Milenkovic. Hutchinson again just a little bit.
I'm not sure he'll survive after half-time. Hutchinson, keep playing the way he is. You've got to believe that you can get a result in your body language.
Well, Jesus feels as if he was pulled back there. The referee concurs. Vardio goals down, and it's not the first time that he's brought Jesus to ground. But he's now tried to suggest that he's got an injury, and that's delayed the retaking of the free kick. The Forest crowd want a yellow card for shirt pulling there. And it's currently Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. The latest odds are available at Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Forest to win at 4-1. City to win 11-8. The draw is 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, I think Gvardiol's gone down, suggesting he's got a flailing finger in the eye, I think.
I think he went down after realising that there was every chance that Rob Jones was looking for his cards. And he thought he'd try and take the sting out of it. It won't be long before that happens. Again, was there a pull on Jesus? There was, this time by Ruben Diaz, who's gone down. And actually, Jesus, after a couple of rather half-hearted attempts at trying to hold the ball up, has won a couple of key fouls now and got Ruben Diaz booked, as he is the latest to commit a foul on the big Brazilian striker.
To be fair, credit to Jesus. We moaned about him earlier on in the game where you thought there was challenges coming when he's got his back to play, and it's never easy when you've got players behind you to get hold of that ball. But the last couple, he's put the back line and Manchester City under big pressure, drawn a booking now from one of their central defenders, all because he's showing an aptitude to maybe for the physical challenge that's going to come.
Here is the free kick then. It's in the dead centre of the Manchester City half. It's a good opportunity for Forest, this, to try and construct something. Murillo swings it wide towards the right touchline. Again, it's a little bit of an odd one. Amari Hutchinson takes over, plays it back into Anderson. Anderson feeds it down the right side, and Savona is released, and Erling Haaland is going to come back and do his defensive duties. And it was necessary that goes out for a goal kick.
I'll tell you what, it looked for all intents and purposes as though Anderson was going to push it back into Hutchinson. He didn't do that. He cut the neck off the ball into Savona, and I'll tell you what, it was a great ball. Savona wasn't ready for it.
No, but Erling Haaland was.
Indeed he was.
Getting back into his penalty area and managing to help it clear. And it's a goal kick to Manchester City with 8 minutes to play at the end of the first half. A first half which hasn't seen too much goal-mouth incident, really. But Manchester City know they're in a game here. Here is Igor Jesus, who's growing into the match with every turn. They've had 2 shots, Nottingham Forest to Manchester City's 3, but we haven't had a single attempt on target so far in the game here. Out it goes to Savona on the right-hand side. Jesus wants it played into the penalty area. It's headed away by Gvardiol before it can reach the Brazilian. Gvardiol's got it again inside the box, takes it wide of the area. Away by O'Reilly, hits Foden, goes out. It just feels as if all of a sudden Manchester City are feeling a little bit rattled here. They certainly haven't had everything their own way.
See, this is another instance we've just seen there. Anderson gets the ball. Look, Anderson's telling Savona Hutchinson should be begging for that ball. He's in 5 yards of space.
Here is Williams with a cross into the box. A dangerous one from the left-hand side. And again, Jesus and Dominguez not close enough to it to capitalise on what was a brilliant delivery from the Welshman.
Yeah, as I say, just going back to that moment that Hutchinson, I just think he's got to be forthright. Your body language has got to send a message out, to the teammates that you want the ball, but just as importantly to the opposition to say, hey, this kid's on fire today.
Here is Gvardiol of Manchester City. Manchester City know they go back to the top of the table. Lots of talk about scales and weigh-ins and making sure that the players are sensible over Christmas in the build-up to the game. But at the moment, this game is very much in the balance. Here is Cherky, edge of the area, trying to shoot. Blocked brilliantly by Williams. Comes back out to Matthias Nunez. He manages to strike it, but it comes straight to Nico Dominguez. Then Igor Jesus with a lovely little catch and turn. He then runs into Gonzalez, goes down, referee says play on. Foden takes over, gets the wrong side of Anderson, goes on towards the right wing position where Bernardo Silva was waiting for the ball. Foden then slips the ball into the area, lovely little touch by Reinders, comes back to Cherky inside the box. Haaland tees it up for Foden. It's again Williams who blocks the effort, and it's still loose inside the Forest penalty area, but it's Williams who reacts quickest to take it away from Bernardo Silva. He takes it wide of goal, and then Murillo will send it up towards Igor Jesus, who takes it in, tries to turn, goes to ground, not getting a foul on this occasion.
No, I think it was a correct decision by the referee. Obviously the coaching staff of Forest are absolutely haranguing the fourth official now, but for me that's not a foul.
Cherky, far side, playing the ball back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz on to Matthias Nunez, who just dropped over towards that right-hand side. Manchester City looking for the breakthrough here with 5 minutes to go. Low cross into the box by Nico O'Reilly, away by Murillo, and then collected on halfway by Josko Gvardiol. And it remains goalless on Talksport, where Manchester City started with a lot of possession, but Nottingham Forest just edged their way back into the game, not allowing them to settle. They do have a bit of an issue here to deal with as Reinders gets beyond Anderson, turns it out to the wide right position. The cross into the box from Bernardo Silva is helped away by Murillo. He thunders the ball towards the touchline on the far side. Jesus went up with Ruben Diaz for the ball, but it spills into the path of Bernardo Silva, and City come forward again. 0-0. Here is Gvardiol. Poor ball by him. Picked off by Savona. Savona gets his body in front of Nico O'Reilly, waits for the free kick and the contact and wins it.
It's another situation here. Savona's turned a possession over and he's got a great opportunity to counter-attack, which he took. And he's trying to drive forward. And Hutchinson, who's 5 yards behind him, his reaction should be, I'm going past you like stink. He didn't. He just stood behind him. You've got... My goodness, I should be coaching. Honestly, I should be down there coaching now. The kid's got to show some more forthright reaction to the game. Otherwise, the manager will bring him off at half-time and say, look, you've not affected the game, and you should be.
Well, we're pleased you're not coaching, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to sit up here with us. But we can see exactly what you mean. And maybe Sean Dyche will as well and react at half-time. Maybe you could pop down and see him at half-time, give him a little bit of a volley. Ball given away on halfway by Murillo. A little back heel by Cherki. And then there was a foul by Anderson that gives a yellow card to Elliot Anderson, the England international, on Ryan Cherki. And a free kick is awarded to Manchester City just right of the centre circle.
Murillo there, just careless with the ball. He cannot afford to do that and lose it in those areas. Because what happens is all this good work that they've done will be undone. And Anderson's a bit disappointed. He's suggesting that other players have made multiple fouls and not been booked, and he's made one and straight in the book.
And he didn't make any contact either, because Cherki knew what was coming and decided to dive over it. And Anderson probably right to mention that to Rob Jones. And the yellow card, though, has been awarded to the England international. He's had such a good start to his England career.
Dodgy just pointing to his temples once again. He realises on 43 minutes this is critical time now, between now and half time, that you go in with that clean sheet intact.
Indeed. And the narrative was all about Erling Haaland today, sitting on 149 goals for Manchester City in just 169 appearances. Scoring today would make him the latest centurion and a half for the club, chasing down Sergio Aguero's records, but he hasn't really seen much of the ball in the opponent's half of the field. That doesn't mean he won't still come up with a telling moment in the game. 1 minute of normal time to be played at the end of the first half, and it's Manchester City in possession, 0-0 the score. It's Cherki. Back in field to Guardiola, and then on to Nico O'Reilly, who steers it back into the path of Ruben Diaz. Diaz looks up. Foden's made a run down the inside left channel. He's just overhit that, Ruben Diaz. He was waiting for Foden to get up to speed before he tried to pull the trigger on that, and in the end it didn't come. And it's straight into the arms of John Victor away to our left. What will Pep Guardiola be thinking at half-time? Because I think we know that Sean Dyche will be pretty satisfied with that first 45 minutes, and maybe want a little bit more from Hutchinson, a little bit more maybe from Dominguez and Igor Jesus. But what will Pep be thinking?
I think they've had opportunities where they've just pushed the door ajar slightly, but not been clinical enough when they have done. They've fed the ball through or hit those diagonals. What I would say as well, a couple of times when it has gone into the wide areas, Haaland switches off because he thinks to himself, well, you're not going to put the ball in the box. And then when it does come in the box, he's not been ready for it and not been on the move. So a little bit of consistency and give the centre-forward more clarity of when the ball is coming in and when it isn't. I feel a little bit sorry for Haaland in that respect.
Well, the ball's been tossed down the touchline by Manchester City, and they've quickly given away a throw. Savona will take it. We're into the first and only added minute at the end of the first 45. Savona throws it into the path of Gibbs-White, nudges it back to Anderson. Anderson on the edge of the centre circle is Milenkovic. Into Anderson again. Might be just one goal that separates these two at the end of the match. You never know. That was the situation last year anyway. O'Reilly. And again, it's been fiercely competitive without too much goalmouth action. In fact, still awaiting our first shot on target of the game. John Victor clips it high into the air, and that is the end of the first 45 minutes. And remember that Nottingham Forest have frustrated Manchester City before. They won 1-0 here last season thanks to a Hudson-Odoi strike. They aren't in front, but they are stifling City at the break, where it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, it is a great outing for Manchester City so far. They've really resigned City to hardly any opportunities, Stuart. What a great start for them.
Yeah, it's been a good defensive display by Forest. They've camped back in. They've been very narrow. They've made sure when the ball has been switched and they've had to get out wide. They've got out wide. When it has come in, Milenkovic and Murillo have been in the correct positions to deal with any problems. But when you play against City, it's about concentrating for 90-plus minutes, and it just takes one person to switch off once. I think from their point of view as well, from Forest, that's one side of the game. The other side of the game, Resh, is when they do turn it over and do get opportunities. I think the likes of certainly Hutchinson, who's playing just in front of me, has got to show in his body language, look, I'm coming to hurt you with the ball, because your team need an outlet.
And that's been the biggest problem, hasn't it, with Forest in terms of having that outlet as well. So they're going to have to be working on that. What do you think City have to do to change it? Is it a personnel issue? Do you think they have... they've obviously got options off the bench. What do you think Pep will be looking to do in that second half?
I don't think there'll be any changes at half-time from him. I think his team have played with decent confidence in what they're trying to achieve. For me, when they have switched play, they've been patient in the build-up, and when they have switched play, for me, sometimes instead of feeding it back inside and being so slow and deliberate with your build-up play out wide, sometimes that ball just needs to come in the box, because you might not get first contact, but you're forcing the centre-halves to get first contact, and then you pick up things on the edge of the box. Yeah,
it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Two managers who sort of have their side so well drilled. It'll be interesting to see who breaks first. Thank you very much, Stu. Here at the City Ground then, at half-time, it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0 in the Premier League, and the second half is up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream over 50 live Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Chelsea versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Don't miss any of the tungsten-tipped top-flight action as the biggest names in darts jockey at the Oche for world domination. The PDC World Darts Championship on Talksport and Talksport 2. With Village Hotels. Get live commentary throughout the entire tournament on Talksport 2. Plus full, unrivaled coverage of the final from Ali Pali on Talksport. The PDC World Darts Championship live on Talksport and Talksport 2. With Village Hotels. Dine out, stay, work out, play.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackies tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim. No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals. Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action.
Think you've said it all there, Clive.
Sorry, Jim.
Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway.
Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise, where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
It's another day at Screwfix, and so Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo?
Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Welcome back to Game Day Exclusive. It is a big day of Premier League action across the country. We're going to keep you up to date with every single fixture. There are 7 Premier League games today, and the first one is here live on Talksport. It's at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. It's half-time in that one, and it is currently Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. Well, over on Talksport 2 at the same time, the PDC World Darts Championships continue, and watching for Talksport is Chris Murphy.
Yeah, and Wesley Plazier is at it again, the man who knocked out Gerwin Price before Christmas. Is 2 sets to 1 up against Poland's Krzysztof Ratajski. It's first to 4 in this third round, so time for Ratajski to get back into the game. But Plazier is bringing that doubling proficiency that he had before Christmas with him, more than a 50% strike rate in that department. The winner of this will take on Andrew Gilding or Luke Woodhouse, who are in action in the second match of the afternoon. And Johnny Clayton returns after a 12-day break because he received a bye in the second round following Dom Taylor's exclusion from the tournament. He faces Niels Zonnevel in the third. All of those matches are live on Talksport 2.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that 2026 is just around the corner, but that also means that so is the FIFA World Cup, and Talksport is already revving up the excitement with our new podcast, How to Win the World Cup. Comedian Matt Ford is joined by World Cup winners like Emmanuel Petit and Kleberson. There are also some England legends, celebrities and journalists to compile a go-to guide for Thomas Tuchel to help England win the trophy in America next summer. I wonder if Thomas Tuchel is waiting with bated breath for that. I'm only joking. I know our fans will definitely be looking forward to listening to it. So do go and check out How to Win the World Cup podcast. It's available now via your favourite podcast provider. Now, though, with the game currently poised at 0-0 at half-time here at the City Ground, it's time to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom joins us from Betfair. Sam, how are you feeling after that? How is it all reflecting in the odds, your emotions aside?
Yeah. Forest frustrating Manchester City, I think, and coming close themselves in that first half, didn't they? What has that done to the odds, that first 45 minutes? Not a lot, to be completely honest with you. Manchester City still the odds-on favourites to win this game. They have drifted out ever so slightly, but like I say, still odds-on at 10 to 11. Forest were 4-1 to win the game before kick-off. They're still 4-1 now at half-time. The draw currently 7-4. They were turning the screw a little bit towards the end of that first half, Manchester City. Phil Foden with a couple of shots. We've odds boosted him to score or assist. That was 2-1, now 5-2. Erling Haaland, he hasn't looked too busy, hasn't he? But you can never... I mean, you say that quite a lot, and then all of a sudden he pops up, doesn't he, out of nowhere.
You just don't want to say it, do you?
Him... Yeah, we've odds boosted him to break the deadlock, for him to score first, 11-4 now. Interestingly, we've seen a bit of a battle between Josko Guardiola and Igor Jesus, who is leading the line really well for Forest, isn't he, so far? Guardiola's fouled him twice. We've got a match stats special on the sportsbook at the minute. Guardiola to commit 3 or more fouls on Igor Jesus. Already committed 2 on him. That's now 11-8, so one to keep an eye on in the second half, that battle. But looking at our charity bet as well, we've got a bet builder: Cherki to score or assist, Man City to win, Milenkovic to be carded, all combined in a bet builder. We back that before kick-off, just a bit bigger than 10-1, so our 50 quid will return 557 if those 3 land. Still need a lot for those 3, but a big 45 to come. Cherki had that sort of half chance when he was brought down in the box. I know it was reviewed, but penalty all day for me. But anyway, hopefully we can land those 3 selections.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much, Sam. Always great to talk to you. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, as always, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League. He's at the G-Tech for Brentford against Bournemouth. We'll talk about that one in a second. But Arsenal are up against Brighton at 3 p.m. Now, a win today and Manchester City will leapfrog them at the top of the table until 3 p.m. at least. So Arsenal fans will be pretty happy with how Nottingham Forest are holding City at the moment, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, Man City keep on. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm very well. Merry Christmas to you, by the way.
Is it too late for that?
No, it's not too late. It's never too late. It's not too
on
late.
Christmas Day, so why are you bothering now?
I don't know. Did you message me?
But listen, I think Arsenal fans will be absolutely delighted. And I always felt Man City, they're going to drop points somewhere along the line. They're not going to win every Premier League game between now and the end of the season. Could it be at a place like Nottingham Forest too? And actually, if Forest win, they go 8 points clear of the bottom 3. So I wonder if Sean Dyche might be saying, hang on a minute, why don't we go for the win after 75 minutes or whatever? And maybe you'll just be happy with a draw. But this is looking good as far as Arsenal fans are concerned.
Yeah, and it's looking pretty decent, as you say, for Nottingham Forest as well. I don't see why they wouldn't go for it, considering it would give them that breathing space at the bottom of the table. And speaking of the bottom, Wolves are at Liverpool today. I mean, how worried are you for Wolves? I mean, in all honesty, I can't see the turnaround coming at any point.
Well, they're going down. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. 2 points from 51 yet to win this season.
Yeah.
However, what I would say is Arne Slot actually highlighted this in the pre-match press conference, saying that Wolves are getting closer and closer, and I scoffed a bit, and then I looked at it and I thought, hang on a minute, Arsenal's winner was in injury time own goal. Against Brentford, they didn't get their second till 83rd minute. Forest winner was in the 72nd minute. Villa's winner halfway through the second half. So they're still losing games, but they're going closer and closer. They're tight games. That's what I'm trying to say. So maybe they're getting closer, but listen, they've seriously got some issues. But they're definitely going down. It's just a question of how much dignity they go down with.
Absolutely. It's the moral victories they can pick up on the way. And actually, we hosted the game against Arsenal live on Talksport a couple of Saturdays ago. And I can tell you, Wolves, as you say, they absolutely put in a fight. You saw something very different from them, actually. So they do have it in them. It's just probably not going to change the inevitability of the fact that they're going to go down. But what about West Ham? Look, they're just in that picture, aren't they, again, for going down the table. It's a sorry state of affairs, really. And you've got Nuno, who's obviously gone over there now. West Ham host Fulham today. You can't just keep chopping and changing managers, but how long does Nuno have to turn things around, especially if Forest pick up a result today?
I think it's a great question, but maybe it's time to realise that probably it's not Nuno's fault. Fulham have won the last 2. They might be without Harry Wilson today, got to wait on his fitness, but West Ham are in the bottom 3, and they'll be watching this one. They'll be cheering on Man City because it keeps Forest sort of closer to them, if you like, but Nuno's not getting enough out of Jared Bowen. His stats are good, but not as good as they've been for the last couple of seasons. Needs to get more out of him. Needs to get more out of the rest of the players. Needs a striker in January. They've been linked with Jorgen Strand Larsen, but they'd certainly need somebody to score goals.
How long have they needed a striker, though, West Ham? How long have they needed someone who's going to get them? I know. I feel sorry for West Ham fans for waiting decades for that eventuality to actually happen. Adrian, have a great one today.
Cheers.
Enjoy the G-Tech. I know you're alongside Joe Shannon for Brentford against Bournemouth, and of course Adrian will be keeping you up to date with all the goings on in all of those 3 o'clock kickoffs, and it is a really, really busy day in the Premier League. At the City Ground, though, the players are heading out for the second half. City are coming out first, Nottingham Forest just behind them. So I'm going to hand you back to our commentary duo, the sparkling duo of Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. Yes, and over the course of the last hour or so, it's been revealed that poor old Chris Wood has suffered a setback in his rehabilitation from a knee injury. He's had to go under the knife again, and he is going to be out for a prolonged period of time. So in the last hour or so, he has posted on his social media that he is going to be out for a prolonged period, having to have surgery on that knee injury in order to get better from it longer term, Stuart. And that's going to be a major miss, isn't it, over the course of the season if they don't have him available at all?
Well, it's horrific news, really, to be honest with you, for Forest, considering what he done last year on the goal scoring front. what he is as a professional as well, and it's tough news on him, that is for sure. And this has been a little bit stop-start, this injury, and that makes you fear that this season must be under real threat for him.
Yeah, and he says actually on his Instagram post that last year was such a personal high for him. This season has been a personal low, but you have to sort of take the good with the bad every now and again. And certainly he's not feeling in a great place at this moment in time, but the club doctors and the staff looking after him, having just undergone his surgery. And now Ruben Diaz has just brought down Igor Jesus. Now he's already been booked, Ruben Diaz, and Jesus is asking for Rob Jones to take more emergency action. This is the first act of the second half. The ball tossed down the inside left channel. Ruben Diaz reacted late. Igor Jesus run across his toes. It was definitely a foul. It could have been a yellow card. The referee is not going to give it. And he's going to stay on the pitch, Ruben Diaz, but he's not going to get many more.
No, as I say, I personally don't think there was any intent by it. You know, both players have sort of run across each other's eye line as such. And Jesus has gone down, I wouldn't say theatrically, he's gone down, he's been caught, then he got up, then he fell over again after giving the yellow card symbol. So it's all amateur dramatics, it really was, in this pantomime season, but they'll be desperate to get him off and get an advantage. But Forest have got a good opportunity to put a decent ball in the box now.
Did you get to see a panto this year?
Yeah, I went to see Buddy Elf in London.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh yes, I did.
Free kick on this near side, left edge of the penalty area. One man more is Phil Foden. It's going to be taken by Anderson. Hudson-Odoi is just to his right. It's a good attacking opportunity at the start of the second half for Nottingham Forest, and Anderson swirls the ball towards the far post. It's too close to Donnarumma, who just catches it rather routinely and will clear it away. That probably goes down as our first shot on target, but it was not a meaningful one. And Manchester City have possession again. I'll go through the 2-11s for you in just a second. City shooting from left to right in the second half in grey jerseys with fluorescent yellow trim, attacking the end that their supporters are housed in, away to our right, the Bridgeford end, which is going to be renamed the John Robertson stand very shortly. Nottingham Forest in red shirts with white shorts and socks, attacking the goal away to our left, the Trent end, which is where they famously love to charge in the second half of matches. Here is Nico O'Reilly, far side the touchline on the left for Nottingham, for Manchester City. Vardiol into Cherky on the half turn, into Reinders. Reinders slips it under the goalkeeper and pokes it in brilliantly. Super move from Manchester City. Really good finish from Tiani Reinders. And just 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the second half, Manchester City made the breakthrough. A wry smile on the face of Pep Guardiola. It was a lovely ball down the inside left channel. A brilliant turn by Reinders, and he slipped it under the goalkeeper and into the net, and it's 1-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, Reinders just had too much space, to be honest with you, and it was Cherky that come in the hole to receive. Done brilliantly, unmarked, on the half turn, a great reverse ball, and Reinders put it in the back of the net. But I tell you what, Pep's reaction was interesting. Went straight to his assistant, pointing at him, telling him, well done, well done. So I wonder whether there's been a slight, at half-time, tactical change that has freed up that space.
Pep Linders gets the applause down in front of us, the former Liverpool assistant manager. But it's Tiani Reinders who's getting embraced by his teammates, and it was a super little pass from Ryan Cherky. He picked it up on a pocket of space on the edge of the area. He fed the ball into Reinders, and Reinders scored. And that is an assist for Ryan Cherky, which helps our charity bet.
As I say, good positional play by Cherky. Got in that position, but as we mentioned beforehand when we were speaking of Morgan Rogers, it's all very well getting in those positions, but the ability to get turned quickly and thread the pass was the absolute key to the goal.
Well, Reinders' goal after 48 minutes officially puts Manchester City in a position where they will now, if it was to stop right now, top the table ahead of Arsenal's game against Brighton. And Manchester City have won their last 7 games in all competition. The last 5 in the Premier League. The last 3 wins have all been by a 3-0 scoreline. And Tiani Reinders gets goal number 4 of the season in Manchester City colours. And it's a different prospect now for Nottingham Forest, isn't it? Having kept them at arm's length, almost immediately after the break they have conceded and found themselves in a spot of bother. Reminds me a little bit of the game against Chelsea here, if you remember that game that we did, where they kept their own in the first half and then in the second half ended up wilting. And here is Cherki running into the penalty area down the right side, trying to hit the near post and try and squeeze it past Victor. It does hit the near post, pushed beside the woodwork by the big Brazilian goalkeeper, and it goes out for a corner. And he continued his run brilliantly there, taking on first Murillo and then Williams going on the outside. He went for the tight angle at the near post and he almost found it.
He did. As we spoke about him before the game, he might be the one that offers that De Bruyne a sprinkle of gold dust, if you like. And he's certainly done that with a goal, and he nearly done it then by scoring near post.
Another corner to be taken on this near side. Foden to take it. Nottingham Forest have leaked 16 goals from dead ball situations in all competitions this season, and they will have to deal with that one. Milenkovic comes careering out of his slot and heads it away from the on-rushing Gvardiol. Glances it out for another corner over on the far side.
Yeah, whenever you play against teams of City's magnitude now, it's that concentration just before half-time where you think you're there for a breather that you switch off, or that 10 minutes after before you get back in your routine of playing again in the second half, and it's been costly.
Ryan Cherki taking the corner kick from the far touchline. He just moves the microphone out the way as he then sends it in towards the near post, and up went Gvardiol again. Murillo did well enough. There was a bit of pushing inside the penalty area, and Forest want to get things moving quickly, and they do. They shoot it up to Igor Jesus, who tries to run forward. He's then upended by Gvardiol, gets the ball as he does so. The referee says no foul, and Manchester City are in command.
As I say, they've got to wrestle momentum back now, Forest. They really are under a little bit of pressure, and City looking to build on that.
And they've just got the bit between the teeth now, Manchester City, it feels, as Haaland picks it up and nudges it forward into the path of Foden. Well won by Milenkovic. It was fascinating. You'll remember the FA Cup semi-final between these two last year, where they had a real good go at it, Nottingham Forest. Morgan Gibbs-White missed a couple of chances. I think they hit the woodwork once or twice as well. Lewis and Gvardiol ended up getting the goals that sent City through to the FA Cup final. Jesus is just running behind here, and he's beaten the offside trap, and he's travelled down the left for Nottingham Forest, and now the offside flag is up. And that's a little bit frustrating for Sean Dyche, who's not happy. He doesn't think that was... oh my word, it was not clear. It was very, very tight.
As I say, it looked really tight, and the angle we've just seen there, it amazes me what gets played on to a finish and what doesn't these days. But hey, I think if we went back, we'd probably see that he was marginally offside.
Kieran Bowie has just scored for Hibs, who have had a very good day in the Edinburgh derby at Easter Road. They lead by 3-0 against top of the table Hearts, and Hearts in a situation where their lead will be cut if Celtic beat Livingston, or when Celtic beat Livingston a little bit later on, to just 3 points and with a game in hand. Here is Reinders, edge of the area for Man City, trying to get a shot away. He has it pinched off his toes by Morgan Gibbs-White. It's a good ball out to the near side. He finds Callum Hudson-Odoi. He holds it by the touchline, then goes back into Gibbs-White. Lovely little reverse ball down the inside left channel. Pulls it back to Amari Hutchinson, 1-1. Brilliant Nottingham Forest move. Absolutely terrific. Well constructed, well finished. Hutchinson scores at the far post. They slalom their way down this left-hand side. Morgan Gibbs-White and Hudson-Odoi involved. And when the ball came back from Jesus through the 18-yard box, Hutchinson was free at the far post to rifle it home at the Trent end, and it's 1-1.
Well, I've got to say, that was probably as good a phase of play. Bear in mind, they picked the ball up on the edge of their box, basically, and played it right through the pitch to score a goal. As good a phase of play as you'll see anywhere in the Premier League this weekend to score a goal. And City will be really disappointed there. They look very leggy being played through. But great play there, and just the response that Dyche would have wanted. And a good finish by Hutchinson. Been a little bit critical in the first half, but when it dropped to him at the far post, he took it. And it's easy to miss those or get them slightly wrong when you've got a lot of time to look at it. But a great finish.
Well, that's the first goal for the club record signing, £37.5 million from Ipswich Town. And it's a timely intervention against one of the best teams in the land. Omari Hutchinson making it 1-1.
Well, I don't think any of us saw that coming, Sam. City scoring the goal, and then...
Here is Reinders, edge of the area, unleashing a firecracker, but it didn't sit up properly for him, and he ends up skying it into the Bridgeford end away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, City, as I say, City got that goal, and then all of a sudden you're thinking they're going to go on and be very comfortable in the game, and the response in that goal has been absolutely outstanding. Literally played 80, 90 yards of football right through the thirds to finish.
Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1. That was a really good, well-constructed goal by Sean Dyche's team. And you know what, sometimes I think he gets labelled rather unorthodox. Well, that was picked up by the hand of Foden, wasn't it? He's charging forward from the goal kick and he's fed it out towards the left. And now joining his Reinders, he gets the ball into the centre and it's spooned away by Anderson. Gonzalez tries to keep it alive and it goes out to the far side. I mean, John Victor's kick was terrible there, but I'm sure that popped off the arm of Foden as he managed to win it back and started to run forward towards the Nottingham Forest goal. Anderson trying to keep it in over on the far side. Hutchinson can't do so. It goes out for a throw-in to Manchester City. And City have the opportunity to construct another attack. 1-1 the score. Here is O'Reilly down the left-hand side. Just puts a little bit of speed into his run and sends it into the box. Hangs the cross up towards Haaland. It's headed away. Collected eventually by Cherky and sent back to the halfway line. And Ruben Diaz. Diaz now on into Nico Gonzalez. I was about to say, actually, sometimes you get labelled as a manager, set pieces, long balls, all that kind of stuff, but that was about as good a bit of football we've seen for a long time from Nottingham Forest. That was excellent the way they constructed that goal.
Sam, that was as good a bit of football as we've seen by any team in the Premier League to score, playing right through the thirds like they did, movement, running with the ball, without the ball, and a clinical finish at the end of it. So, but listen, it's put this game back in the balance again.
Certainly has. The ball in towards the near post, away by Anderson. And then picked up in the right full-back position. Sent back to Savona, who clips it into the evening or the afternoon sky. It's headed away by Gvardiol. Anderson doesn't give him a moment's peace, and the ball breaks for Reinders. Anderson does brilliantly, wriggles through the tightest of gaps and then fades the ball out to Williams on this near side. He's so good at that, Anderson, in those tight areas. Now Hudson-Odoi fancies chances at running against Nunez. Comes infield and then gives it away. And he's been told to get back out to keep an eye on Cherky as Foden turns the ball over and charges towards the edge of the area. Tries a shot, hits Haaland with it. And Hudson-Odoi ends up getting it and sending it over to the far side. The offside flag was up. The referee says play on because they're on the hunt here with Hutchinson, who's got an extra burst of speed away from Nico O'Reilly. Gets into the box, goes down on the edge of the area. That's going to be a yellow card. Well, that contact certainly started outside the area, but it did continue towards the edge of the box there, Stuart.
I've got to say, top quality play there by Hutchinson. That's exactly what I was bemoaning about in the first half. His shyness to go and really take the game to the opposition. He's got in the box, he scored his goal, and on that occasion picked it up and run straight at O'Reilly and asked questions and drew a foul right on the edge of the box.
Yeah, it was excellent from Omari Hutchinson, who's got the equalising goal here. Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1, live on Talksport. We're into the final half an hour of the game. We're almost in the final half an hour of the game. Hutchinson about to take the free kick. He's got Morgan Gibbs-White alongside him, but he's going to leave it for the former Ipswich Town man. Good opportunity to construct something here for Nottingham Forest, who have got themselves back into the game almost immediately after conceding that goal from Tiani Reinders. Now, all of the attacking players in Nottingham Forest, Gary Baldy Red, are just lined up just in front of the 6-yard box away to our left. This free kick is wide on the right. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. It's a low one. Again, no loft on it, and it's hit the first man, and it's easily cleared away. So we'll go off to the Emirates and get team news from Talksport's Alex Crook.
And it's a very intriguing Arsenal lineup. Just the one change from the side that beat Everton 1-0. Mikel Merino is in for Yuri Timber, but only 3 defenders in the 11, so that could mean Declan Rice starts at right back. A trio of changes for Brighton, who welcome back Dunk from suspension, Van Hecke from illness, and Gomez starts as well. At the Emirates, it's Arsenal against Brighton.
That does sound intriguing. We'll give you across that throughout the course of the afternoon on Talksport as we hit the hour mark here. It's Nottingham Forest 1. Manchester City 1 on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Chelsea versus Aston Villa live today, Serge. Now sports, ball far side with Manchester City in possession. Gvardiol gets it to O'Reilly back to Gvardiol. He wants to kick it long, he plays it against the defender, it goes out and away for a goal kick. So let's get team news from West Ham. Big game for them today, especially if Nottingham Forest picks something up here. James Fielden.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Nuno Espirito Santo, I'm sure, sweating on that result at the City Ground, but no sweat for him here today. He was worried about Ollie Scars, but he's made it. It's an unchanged side from the team that played against Manchester City, and Fulham also unchanged from the side against Nottingham Forest in their last match, so no problems for either side. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff for West Ham against Fulham.
Mickey Gray is watching the game at Turf Moor.
3 changes for Burnley from their 1-1 draw with Bournemouth. Humphreys, Edwards and Armando Broja start, with Worrell, Anthony and Fleming missing out. Back-to-back defeats for Everton, and David Moyes makes 2 changes. No Jack Grealish in the Everton squad. Tieno Barrow moves to the bench, with Tyler Dibbling and Beto coming in. From Turf Moor, it's Burnley against Everton.
Every time I see him, Elliot Anderson gets better. Lovely little balletic turn to get him away from Haaland, and then feeds it out towards the far side. Savona trundling down the touchline, tries to get the better of the defender O'Reilly. Produces a cross into the box. Jesus manages to turn, hit it, takes a deflection over the top, goes out for a corner. Another brilliant Forest move.
Really good play there. Savona going down the wide and whipped a ball in, and it was Jesus on the half turn. Just took a nick and went over the bar. But I'm going to go back to that point you made. Anderson, from the first moment, his body language is of an individual that says, I'm good enough and I'm going to drive my team on. He's been magnificent.
Absolutely superb. They have a corner kick away to our left-hand side. We'll get off to some of the other games in just a few moments before the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Here is Anderson's delivery into the penalty area, hangs it up, and John Aruma, well, he didn't really get a proper punch on that. And I don't know whether he felt he was being pulled or pushed, but he sort of slipped off the back of his glove, and he had to rely on his teammates to get him out of dodge.
The bottom line is it was disastrously poor goalkeeping. Once again, they come for the ball in the air, and they attempt to buy a foul before they deal with the ball.
Yeah, and it just slipped off the top of his glove, and it could have been a real problem. Kolo Toure has the ball in his hands, one of the coaches for Manchester City, and we can go off to the G-Tech and Talksport's Joe Shannon.
1 change for Brentford, Ayer for Van den Berg, who we're told is injured. 3 changes for Bournemouth, Krupi for Evan Nielsen, Scott for Kluivert, Smith for Brooks, Antoine Semenyo starts.
Cross into the box from O'Reilly as Manchester City go on the hunt to put themselves in front again. Goes back to the middle of the Forest half, and Matthias Nunez and then Cherki with a dangerous little ball in towards the near post that nobody else really read. And John Victor picks it up and will be able to clear. Matt Jones is our final reporter. He's at Anfield today.
2 changes for Liverpool from their win over Spurs. Szoboszlai is suspended and Bradley is on the bench, so Frimpong makes his first start in 2 months, and Chiesa is also in for a rare start. As for Wolves, Hoover, Lopez, Wolf and Strand Larsen are out. Mosquera, Hugo Bueno, Mane and Arokadere are in. Liverpool against Wolves from 3.
Thank you very much. That's Matt Jones, who's part of our reporting team as we take you round the grounds from 2:30 this afternoon with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in every moment. The ball hits the back of the net. You'll hear it first and fastest right here on Talk Sport. 1-1 Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Live on Talk Sport this lunchtime in the Premier League. We might have only had 1 game for you yesterday, but we've got absolute smorgasbord of action for you over the next 10 days. Ball sent out towards the far side. Lovely delicate ball from Nunez to O'Reilly, and then back into the centre, away by Gibbs-White, and then humped clear by Hudson-Odoi. And then that was a mistake by Ruben Diaz, who's given it back to Amari Hutchinson. He may well have committed another foul there as well, but didn't get punished by the referee. Might have been a coming together, really. And it goes all the way back towards the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's cleared away by John Victor. nudged forward by Williams, who chests it down again. He's got Hudson-Odoi to his left, and then it's Dominguez in the centre. Elliot Anderson sprays the ball perfectly out towards Hutchison on the far side, or his touch has just caught him, and then many had to check back in, but he's still on the offensive here. Delivers a cross in towards Jesus, who chests it down. It's collected by Gibbs-White, goes a little bit wide of the penalty area, and the tension goes out of it. That's a lovely little body swerve by Hutchinson to keep things moving. He's still got hold of it. Anderson whips it into the box. He's aimed towards Jesus again. Nunez with the header clear, only as far as Gibbs-White. A little back heel. Williams tries to fade it to the far corner. Saved by the goalkeeper, comes back to Savona. He's put it over the top.
Really good play there until it comes to Savona. Parried out by Donnarumma, and well, it was a really, really poor effort. He had a lot more time on his hands than he probably thought he did. The goalkeeper parried it back into a real danger zone, and that goes down. It's maybe one of the better chances of the day.
Well, he had the opportunity, Stuart, to stop it, wait and thrash it goalwards. Instead he hit it first time and he ballooned it into the Trent end.
Yeah, and this game's becoming more and more open as the minutes tick by.
Just wonder if Manchester City are going to turn to their bench in the next few moments, as Pep Linders is in conversation with the fourth official. Down on the far side, Nico O'Reilly travels with the ball, plays it back to Nico Gonzalez. Guardiol takes over, tries to feed it into the path of Gonzalez, 10 yards short of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. It's 1-1 on Talksport, and finally poised. Been a really good Nottingham Forest performance, I think.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go back to that crossfield pass by Elliot Anderson. It was absolutely superb, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Anderson to Hutchinson. And Nico O'Reilly, poor fella, saw it coming, looked into the air and thought, nah, that's going.
It was almost one of those, got it. No, I haven't.
Cherky does well to intercept from Williams, and then Reinders into the area. Poor ball, Milenkovic away, and it's going to reach Callum Hudson-Odoi with Gonzalez out of position, and Hudson-Odoi is running up the Manchester City backline. He's got Jesus going down the inside left, and it's on to Dominguez back to Hudson-Odoi, edge of the D. Oh, and his touch let him down. He was thinking about the next action after receiving the ball, and he hadn't done the hard bit yet.
Yeah, when he drove with it first time out, I wouldn't have sent it wide. I would have kept driving at the centre of their back line and see what occurred. He didn't do that, showed me he didn't have the confidence to do it, and then all of a sudden he received it in the middle of the pitch once again, and you know, you just want to see a bit more belief from him potentially.
Well, there's certainly more belief around this ground about Nottingham Forest, especially since Sean Dyche turned up. They would be 9th in the Premier League if you just included his results. Lovely faded ball out towards his left-hand side again. Anderson again picking it into the path of Williams. And I think Nunez was a little bit aggressive there on Williams, and he's going to give away a free kick because of two hands in the back, and that's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest down the side of the penalty area, wide on the left touchline, and a chance to create another bit of chaos in the Manchester City box.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can, well, as I say, how much contact's there this day and age. You never know with players. They do throw themselves around, but to be fair, I don't think he can argue too much about that being given as a free kick.
Well, it presents Nottingham Forest with another opportunity as Savinio comes down the touchline, getting ready to join the action here at the City Ground, where Nottingham Forest went behind to a brilliantly well-worked Tiani Reinders' goal, only to get themselves back on level terms thanks to Amari Hutchinson, and their record signing gets his first goal for the club today. Anderson and Gibbs-White standing over the ball. Anderson sends it into the box after he went short to Hudson-Odoi. It wasn't a brilliant delivery, and it was easily fielded by the Manchester City defence, and that looks like another wasted opportunity. And it is a bit strange that some of those decisions have been made with a bit too much regularity, really.
Yeah, the set plays have been a bit disappointing. The execution of the odd set play as well have been disappointing.
Sean Dyche can't believe that Igor Jesus has been penalised for nudging Nico Gonzalez off the ball. Looks like Reinders is going to come off and Savinio is going to come on, adding to the extra attacking talent in the Manchester City team in the next few minutes. We've got 20 minutes to go. Woney scored an injury time equaliser in a 3-3 Premier League draw at Main Road in October 1994. He's on the Nottingham Forest bench today, isn't he, Ian Wone? Steve Stone, a big servant of the club as well, assisting Sean Dyche, whose team are level here. Jesus on to Hudson-Odoi, midway inside the Manchester City half on the field, wide on the left-hand side, which has been fertile ground for them in the second half. Anderson nudges it back to Murillo. Infield it goes to Milenkovic. Milenkovic clips the ball down the right channel, looking for the run of Dominguez. It's headed away by Gvardiol and then forward by Gonzalez, and Manchester City have possession again.
Yep, Silvino there just on the touchline, looking as though he's going to be introduced very shortly.
I think it'll be interesting to see where he ends up going to play and what that means for the configuration of the team. Cherki at the moment is occupying this right-hand side. Bernardo Silva, Reinders and Foden all in behind Erling Haaland as they go in search of a goal that will put them in front. Cherki down the right side, taking on Williams. Sees it back for Nunez, who's curling delivery to the far post. He's helped across by Nico O'Reilly and then gobbled up by John Victor. And he will send it clear. Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1. And this is Talksport on a Saturday lunchtime. Remember, we've got live football for you Tuesday and Thursday next week from the Premier League. And then in the beginning of January, the 4th, 5th and 6th, we've got Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night football for you as well, including a massive game, Arsenal against Liverpool, on the 6th of January. So when it comes to the football in the first part of the new year, you know where you've got to be. You've got to be on Talksport. Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now, enterprise.co.uk. City progressing forward. Midway inside the Forest half. It's with Gonzalez. And now out towards the right side of Cherki. Cherki faces up Williams. On the outside of him goes Nunez. No one was distracted by that. Gonzalez swirls across to the far post. Riley getting up there. Here comes Haaland. Can't get over the ball as he tries an acrobatic volley. But it was just too high for him to wrap his foot around and goes over the top.
Yeah, decent ball into the box there, but Haaland not on the move, very static. I think he's got a little bit frustrated that the ball's not coming on a regularity basis.
Dad was a former Nottingham Forest player, wasn't he, Alfinger?
He certainly was, played alongside him, and my first game as player-manager at Forest, he scored 2 goals to beat Arsenal for me, so...
Look at that. That's what you need. That was in that period where you took over briefly, didn't you, for a little while, to the end of the season as you take over?
Yeah, it's probably about 6 months.
Yeah. And then you went back to playing full-time again, didn't you, after that?
Yeah.
Here is Milenkovic heading the ball across. Comes to Murillo, manages to stab it clear. It's headed into the path of O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Foden, and then Silva onto Cherki, edge of the area. Foden, lovely little bit of skill, turns, fires it, brilliant save by Victor, down low to his left. Absolutely superb save. He's celebrating like he's just scored a goal. He certainly saved one. Lovely movement by Manchester City. Cherki and Foden involved. The little body swerve from Foden inside the area was terrific, and he got his shot away well, and it's a really good save.
Top quality, as I say. Forest ended up having a move that probably swept up the pitch. That one was in and around the final third outside the box. Great movement, interchange of play, and Foden's movement to create himself a shooting opportunity, and a good save at the end of it.
Silvino goes down the outside, looking for Williams, who holds him up. Back to Nunez, right side of the area. Then it's on to Silvino again. Silvino just approaching the edge of the box, will feed it into the path of Nunez, and then Silvino is challenged by Williams, and he does brilliantly, Nico Williams, to rob the ball, pick it up, and then bring it away. Looking for the foul now, and that was a little bit telegraphed, really. He threw his body in front of Silvino to draw the foul. But everyone's still talking about that save from John Victor. Lovely little touch by Foden to get away from one defender. He still manages to get the shot away despite the presence of Milenkovic. It's good reactions from the goalkeeper down to his left.
Yeah, it was. Where it was even better, you know, Foden's movement to Foden's left has pulled the goalie to his right, and he's nearly wrong-footed there, but just left a trailing left leg, managed to cannon the ball clear. I think the officials have got to get cuter in knowing what's a foul and what's a player planting his feet and diving on the floor, and that was certainly a case of that.
Well, if it stays like this, Manchester City will remain in second position. Arsenal will have the opportunity to stretch their lead at the top of the table to 4 points when they play Brighton a little bit later on. And Nottingham Forest at the moment holding Manchester City 1 apiece, and there is still 15 minutes to go, and Pep Guardiola looking a little bit agitated on the touchline. I mentioned beforehand he looked in a very good mood in the build-up to the game. He sat with the television guys. He was being interviewed by Joe Hart earlier on today, and having a discussion about what's upcoming for his team in 2026. Sitting in the dugout here, Pep Guardiola picked up a yellow card just then for complaining as a free kick is given to Nottingham Forest. It comes to Milenkovic inside the area. Right-footed shot, takes a deflection, goes left hand, wide of the upright, and out for a corner kick over on the far side. Brilliant. Excellent set piece into the box, which caused all sorts of confusion. They won the second ball, and Milenkovic, well, he looked for all the world as if he was going to hit the target there, but it was only the intervention of Josko Gvardiol that sent it wide of the goal.
Yeah, it certainly was. That was on target. And a good block eventually.
Amari Hutchison's delivery in towards the near post, punched away by Donnarumma, headed away by Cherki, and now Foden is leading the charge out for Manchester City, but he's got no support. Slows up well, turns, plays it forward into Gvardiol, and Manchester City get up the pitch, but by the time they've done that, Nottingham Forest have all funneled back into their slots. Here is Savinho going the outside and beating Hudson-Odoi, a ball into the centre, which is steered away by the head of Maria, kept alive by Bernardo Silva. Now Foden, who's had so much of the ball, he looks much sharper, doesn't he, this season than he has done in recent years, or certainly than he did last year. Looks fit, lean, looks confident. His chest is puffed out like Gaza back in the day.
Yeah, to be fair, he has looked very, very good today, I've got to say. And you're right, there's almost a newfound confidence within him.
Here he is on the ball again. Little dab into the path of Nico Gonzalez, getting onto his right foot, and he skies it over the bar, and it goes out for a goal. Kick away to our right-hand side. The City have dropped 5 points from winning positions already this season, and they've dropped, if it stays like this, 2 more here. Has become a little bit of a habit in the early part of this campaign, or halfway through this campaign.
I certainly think in 2026 we're going to have some twists and turns in the title race, that is for sure. And this will give Arsenal a big lift if this stays the same.
Of course, the other thing this does, Stuart, which has not been mentioned yet, is that if Aston Villa were to beat Chelsea later, they go second.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, we're covering the game on Tuesday at Arsenal, which will be some game when Villa go there.
Still, Arsenal are going to play Brighton later on, and that's never an easy game. We'll find out what happens with Alex Crook and Troy Deeney, who are watching from the Emirates. Here is Matthias Nunez. Infield it goes to Nico Gonzalez. A little turn away from Dominguez. And then, it's a poor ball out towards the near side. It's going to go straight out of play. That's a Nottingham Forest throw in the left full-back position. Now, Forest need to be wary of the final 15 minutes. They've conceded 10 late goals this season, which is a worrying habit. There are now 12 minutes left, and they would like to keep the door shut very much at this juncture, because a point here does wonders for them at the bottom of the table as well. It gives them a 6-point gap to West Ham, who play a little bit later today. Foul by Dominguez on Foden, which is going to give a free kick 6 yards in from the right touchline.
Yeah, as you rightly point out, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in today's play and movement in league tables, but the one thing you do know is there'll be a few twists and turns in this game as well.
Still a long way to go in this game, really. Certainly Nottingham Forest will know that they cannot rest on their laurels. Started today 5 points ahead of West Ham. They could go 6 points clear if it stays like this. They've only lost 3 of the last 11. They're in really good form, actually. 6 out of 9 wins in the last few months, which has really powered them up the Europa League and the Premier League table. Although it hasn't changed the position much, it's certainly amassed some points. Short free kick taken by Manchester City. sent by Cherky down to the right for Foden, who's bounding into the penalty area. Tries to send it through the 6-yard box. It was aimed for Gonzalez, who went towards the near post. It was tucked behind by the Forest defence, and Murillo puts it out for a corner.
Yeah, that's what they've done pretty well in this game. When the ball's been fired across the face of goal, they've managed to get first contact the vast majority of the times there, but great play by Foden. Just show and tell on the ball and just glided past his man.
Looks like Awoniyi is about to come on for the home team as the corner kick, from Foden is sent all the way through the 18-yard box and drifts right the way through the other side and goes out for a throw-in down by the corner flag.
I think a general play from set plays, the delivery has been so poor, isn't it, today? Really poor.
Yeah, from both teams.
Yeah, from both.
Currently Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1. Latest odds are available at Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Nottingham Forest to win the game at 8-1. The draw is 13-8 on. And City to come back and win is 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus. Be gambleaware.org. Looks like Douglas Luiz is going to come on. So is Awoniyi. Callum Hudson-Odoi might be sacrificed here by Sean Dyche and his coaching staff as we go into the final 10 minutes of the game. Remember, we've got Game Day Live for you tomorrow as we take you around the grounds from 1:30 in the Premier League and beyond. Some rugby and some Scottish Premiership action tomorrow as well to keep you in touch with. And those huge games on Tuesday night involving all the big teams. Manchester United Wolves playing on Tuesday night, and Arsenal against Aston Villa is an absolute corker. Kicks off at 8:15. Get the Talksport app. You can listen to all 10 games over the New Year period, and we'd love to have your company. Here is Gvardiol into Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly comes forward with the ball at his feet, travels up towards the halfway line. Manchester City looking for an injection of some creativity. They haven't had too many opportunities, actually, Stuart, have they, to try and get back into the lead again. It's been quite a difficult afternoon for Haaland, who's got the ball now, and he's trying to get away from Milenkovic, but he can't quite do that. And Milenkovic smuggles it behind and away for a corner over on the far side.
Well, that's probably the first time that Haaland bared down on goal in the whole match, and all of a sudden it was him versus Milenkovic, and Milenkovic just probably had a yard start on him. Good physical encounter between the two, though.
I wouldn't like to have got in the middle of it, I've got to be honest. I would come off definitely third best there. Here is the corner, far side. Cherky drips it in towards the near post. Up goes Murillo with a header to head it behind, and it goes out for a corner on the other side.
To be fair, there's a line of thought within the building of Talksport that you between two Barbie dolls could come out.
Third best.
Third best, yeah. Exactly. I don't subscribe to that, but some do.
Yeah.
I'll get you a list of names.
Here is the corner. Deep towards the far post and Foden. Gvardiol heads it down. It comes back to Cherky, who's right footed shot. It's into the corner. It's a brilliant finish from Ryan Cherky. Edge of the area. Connected with a knockback. Found the bottom corner. And Manchester City restore their lead.
I tell you what, I think that's not an over-it corner. Bear in mind that Foden hit one earlier that went out to play the other side of the pitch. They were looking for that. And it was two players at the far post just pulled off, headed it down to Cherky, and once again he was the one who supplied the assist earlier, and it was his finish from the edge of the box that's put City in front.
Well, City lead by 2-1. Milenkovic complaining. The referee is suggesting that he will check this to make sure that there is no pull on the shirt. It does look like there might have been a pull on the shirt of Murillo, bearing in mind that half of it's missing now. He has had his shirt ripped by someone. So was there a pull on the shirt that affected the movement of Murillo, which stops him defending that corner? The problem here is that I don't think there was.
No, I'm not seeing any contact that I would deem a goal being ruled out.
Well, I think it's because the collision happens at the near post. The ball goes to the far post. It's headed back towards the edge of the area. There was certainly a bit of shirt pulling because half of the shirt of Murillo has been torn off. But the referee's view is is that wasn't interfering with the eventual construction of the goal, because it was happening miles away from where eventually first Gvardiol and then Cherki scored the goal from.
Yeah, as I say, it was a well-constructed goal, I've got to say. Ball to the far post and a very well-cushioned header, and Cherki got his finish away, and Gibbs White couldn't sort his feet out, threw his legs in the back of the net.
85 minutes on the clock, and Manchester City heading back to the top of the table. Sean Dyche a little bit perturbed. Still Murillo's walking around with that shirt on, which is... he's actually just changed it now because he's had half of it removed from his body. He's wrestling with Haaland now, the two of them in close contact. But now Nottingham Forest have got to find a way to get back in the ascendancy here. Rob Jones coming over to deal with Haaland and Murillo.
I tell you what, I can't believe what I've just seen. Murillo has just grabbed hold of Haaland, literally grabbed hold of him in a bear hug. 2 yards, I kid you not, 2 yards from the linesman, who's totally ignored it. And you think, come on, you're part of the officials team, help the referee out here. No wonder the Manchester City technical area are going ballistic on this one.
Well, they want to make a change. Awonyi is coming off the bench here for Nottingham Forest. And the referee, Rob Jones, just taking the temperature here. He's called over Bernardo Silva to have a word with him. Off comes Dominguez, on comes Awonyi. The referee still talking to Murillo and Nico Williams away to our right-hand side. Not entirely sure what that's all about, really, why the referee is waiting so long, but he's going to... Is it an uncontested drop ball? It is going to be an uncontested drop ball.
It should be a free kick to Manchester City, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm astounded, really.
And Murillo gets the ball and clears it. Poorly, straight to Cherki. Terrible ball forward. Cherki turns and runs at the Nottingham Forest defence. Anderson comes and pinches it. Helps out his team and sends it forward. Looks like Nathan Ake is going to come on in the last few minutes of the game. 3 minutes before the end. Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 2 live on Talksport. Cherki coming off for Ake in the next few moments as they look to see out this victory, which will take them back temporarily to the top of the table before Arsenal play Brighton. It's bad news for Nottingham Forest, who have been in this game, but can they come up with an equaliser for a second time? Here is Williams down the left, looking to get the better of Matthias Nunez, who, between him and Bernardo Silva, robbed the ball and then sent it to Savinho, who sparks an attack. Morgan Gibbs White can't keep pace with him. Savinho runs into a clutch of red jerseys, and now Williams has it on the halfway line, looking for Hudson-Odoi. Nunez gets it back to his goalkeeper, and then there's a little bit of a tangle between Ruben Diaz and Awonyi, and then it's thundered clear by Bernardo Silva and out on this near side. Here's a substitution. Off comes Cherki, the goal scorer and assist maker, and on comes Nathan Ake. It means that there is a travelling army of Manchester City supporters that are saluting Ryan Cherki, who has been a very solid acquisition. His 7th assist and his 5th goal in Manchester City colours. That's pretty productive numbers.
Yeah, they certainly are. He's the one who's probably made the difference for City. It's been tough going for them. Forest have defended extremely well organised, very deep, but he's the one that's found the clinical finish or the clinical pass.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, in the week where we're talking about the possibility of Antoine Semenyo joining the club because they need more goals from wide positions and from those positions behind the striker. Ryan Cherki has certainly contributed and got himself on the score sheet and the assist as Dylan Bakwa prepares to come on for Nottingham Forest in the final 2 minutes of normal time. There will be a little bit of stoppage time added at the end of this. Jesus trying to win it over on the far side. Didn't quite come off for him. He's now up front with Taiwo Awonyi. It's fired forward towards Awonyi, but it wasn't a great ball forward, which was cut out eventually by Ruben Diaz. And Manchester City on the charge again, and Nico O'Reilly has just slipped inside Savona. Got to the edge of the area, still going. Foden's taken over, a lovely little balletic turn into the box, left-footed, tries to get the shot away, blocked by Milenkovic. Milenkovic is tracking him and forcing him outside the penalty area. He backpedals Phil Foden, but keeps possession well for Manchester City, who lead by 2-1, going into the final seconds of the game.
Super play there by Foden. Try to create the shooting angle, and when he couldn't, he done the sensible thing. Retained possession, slowed the game down.
Guardiola, centre circle, onto Bernardo Silva. Silva back to the right, and Ruben Diaz. Diaz out to the near touchline, where it's collected by Savinho. Savinho back to Ruben Diaz again. And we're almost hitting the 90-minute mark, and we're going to get a couple of minutes of added time at the end of the 90. 5, in fact, added on by our fourth official. As Igor Jesus tries to win the ball, it just sort of bounces into the path of Nunez ahead of Callum Hudson-Odoi, and then Savinho goes on the escape down the right-hand side, tries to outpower Williams, gets into the box. It's Savinho shooting towards the near post, saved by John Victor. Not the most convincing. Nunez has got it back again. He runs into the box, and down the right side it's with Savinho. Savinho now trying to find a way to get another shot away. He feeds it to Gonzalez, back to Bernardo Silva, edge of the area. And it's with Nunez onto Savinho, and Manchester City just content to hold on to the ball in advanced areas and keep it at arm's length away from their goal as they look to try and see out the match. Here's Foden, though, trying to do a little bit more than that, getting a shot away that takes a deflection and bounces into the arms of John Victor. And Nottingham Forest supporters are urging their team forward, but it's very difficult. There's not much in the way of energy going forward for Forest. They've expended a lot defending, Stuart, I think.
Yeah, they have. And as I say, what you need now, you can't afford to let City pass and sit on the ball. You've got to go after the ball. You've got to find that bit of energy.
Well, Igor Jesus has been penalised here for a foul. And Callum Hudson-Odoi is being replaced by Dylan Bakwa. Last few minutes of him, he's had a bit of an injury actually. Bakwa, who's been out for some time, hasn't played under Sean Dyche before now. It'll be good for him to get back and ready for a bit of action in the Europa League possibly, and in the Premier League. And it's quite a busy period obviously for all of these football clubs, and Nottingham Forest are no exception. They play Everton on Tuesday, and then Aston Villa away from home, West Ham away from home on January the 6th. What a huge game that is, by the way. West Ham away from home for Nottingham Forest at the bottom of the table. And then Wrexham in the FA Cup. Then they have Arsenal coming here for the resumption of the last 2 match days of the Europa League. Busy old period for Sean Dyche and his coaching staff. And it's a busy period for Manchester City as well. We've got 10 games between now and January the 28th, including 2 Carabao Cup semi-final games to play. Also got to go take on Exeter at home in the FA Cup third round. 2 games in the Champions League, and a trip to Sunderland, and Chelsea going to the Etihad. Here is Bakwa on the halfway as we go into the third of 5 added minutes at the end of the 90. Jesus holds it up, turns, he's running into traffic, plays it against Ruben Diaz. The ball goes down a play and away for a throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area. Sean Dyche telling everybody to go forward and try and affect the game here, because they're into the final few seconds of the match. There's 2 added minutes to play. It's going to be a long throw from Nico Williams. He powers it in towards Milenkovic. It's headed away by Bernardo Silva. Bakwa tries to keep it alive on the edge of the area. Guardiola tries to get it further clear. It's up to Haaland, who's isolated on the centre circle. He runs the ball out towards the far side, being chased by Savona. But he's all about keeping possession here and not giving it back cheaply to Nottingham Forest, which he has done actually, and Anderson's got it. 90 seconds before the end. Clipped forward by Murillo, headed away by Guardiola. It's Foden who gets there first. Gibbs White tries to put his body in between ball and man and wrestle it and turns it away. Gibbs White, who is the godfather to Ronnie Foden, Phil's son, sends the ball forward up towards Milenkovic, and there was a bit of a push in the back from Milenkovic, and the referee gives the foul. They're going to give the goal kick anyway, but Milenkovic has got up as an almost auxiliary forward now, hasn't he, to try and act as a battering ram and get them back in the game.
He certainly has. As I say, if he'd have got any touch on that at all, Donnarumma had come out, half read the ball, He was in no man's land.
Again, I'm not sure that was a foul.
No, as I say, players throwing themselves to the floor cheaply. Very difficult for the officials.
30 seconds to go. Evangelos Marinakis sitting down in front of us has stayed to the very end, slumped in his seat, watching as Nottingham Forest tried desperately to get the equaliser late on. Ake away just in front of Hutchinson, who was speeding through the centre. The ball's run loose inside the Forest half of the field. John Victor gets it clear. The ball's loose on halfway. It's going to be a Nottingham Forest ball because of an offside flag. And then they fade it forward really quickly. And Bakwa moves down the left. He's got 3 to aim at in the centre. Needs a good cross. It was a terrible one. And it comes out as far as Williams, who's 10 yards short of the penalty area. Again, it's dug out by Savinio. Late pressure from Nottingham Forest here. They've played the 5 minutes of added time. Get it in the box, says Sean Dyche. There's 5 waiting for this delivery. It needs to be a good one. It's aimed into Jesus. He's brought down inside the area. I think he threw himself on the ground, really, to be completely honest. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. And Manchester City win the game. It's job done for the team from the east side of Manchester, extending their winning run in the league to 6 games and going back to the top of the table temporarily. A late goal from Ryan Cherky did the damage. The pressure firmly shifts back to Arsenal, who play later today. City briefly reclaimed top spot in this relentless title race, but it was a very hard-fought victory for Pep Guardiola on a dog-eat day of Premier League football. John Victor's had to make a couple of saves. Donnarumma has come under pressure too. Manchester City, who got themselves in front, were pegged back at 1-1 by a brilliantly constructed Nottingham Forest goal, and very fortunate to walk away with all 3 points. Maybe they just shaded it in the end. It was a professional display, and it needed to be, from Pep Guardiola and his team, because Nottingham Forest certainly ran them close. Full time, Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 2.
Thank you, Sam. Pep Guardiola is shaking his head at someone, but I think he's very happy indeed, because that is a brilliant result for Manchester City. That is exactly what they came here to do. This result, this defeat for Nottingham Forest, leaves them in 17th position, 5 points clear of West Ham, who are in the drop zone. But as for Manchester City, this is how it reads at the top of the table. Manchester City are top on 40 points. Arsenal are second on 39. Aston Villa third in 36. So it means that until those 3 p.m. kickoffs, until Arsenal play Brighton at the Emirates in about half an hour's time, Manchester City are top of the table for the first time since October 2024. The last time, apart from the opening weekend of the Premier League season this time around, the last time they were top of the table was last October. It's been more than a year since that has happened. That is a huge result. And actually, Stuart Pearce, when Ryan Cherky's goal went in, you saw the celebrations, not just from him and the players, but the way Pep Guardiola ran over to his backroom staff as well. This victory is enormous for them.
It certainly is. I think his emotion, Pep's emotion when that ball hit the back of the net, was not just relief that his team had got their nose back in front again in a hard-fought game, but I think it's something they worked on as well, that far post corner and the set-up for it. So he was first over to congratulate his backroom staff in respect to that. So I think this has been a hard-fought victory for them, but they knew if we drop points, Arsenal will capitalise.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see actually just how the way the players have gone over to celebrate with the away fans as well. It means so very much. And I think, you know, as you say, the execution of that goal was absolutely fantastic. The timing of it was fantastic as well. You see Erling Haaland wearing a City Santa cap as well. They're enjoying this one with the fans. Look, we're only here at the 27th of December, but psychologically, when you're a team like City, when you're breathing down the necks of Arsenal, when you know that you've been here and done that before, it gives you that impetus, doesn't it? It puts all the pressure right back on Arsenal. Surely it's Arsenal to lose now, and they'll be looking at this thinking, oh God, here we go again. Or are they thinking, okay, let's do this. This is a title challenge. We've got what it takes.
Well, that remains to be seen, and that's the beauty of it. If we knew the answers now, it wouldn't be worth watching. But the beauty of it, game by game, if it's nip and tuck between these two, and Villa are playing their part in this intriguing title race as well, let alone anyone that might come from the pack of Chelsea, of Liverpool and the like, it's just intriguing. But I think Manchester City realise the importance of keep turning the screw on Arsenal and saying, are you ready for a title race? We know what it's like to win the league and retain the league and the like. Are you ready for that title race and everything that's thrown in the mix with it and the pressure that comes your way with that?
Yeah, it just, I mean, you can see just the way Pep's smiling, that he's hungry for it, he's ready for it. And you've seen, you talk about Aston Villa, 10 wins on the bounce for them. It's now 8 wins on the bounce for Manchester City as well. This Premier League title race is going, I feels like it's going to go right down to the wire. And it is going to be survival of the fittest, not just the fittest on the pitch, but the fittest mentally.
Without a doubt. Listen, the psychological side and the mental side of it is what gets your hands on the trophy every now and then, you know what I mean? So that is the big key. The mental side of the game is massive. Pep is a master at it. His team have shown time and time again over the last decade or more that they're certainly up for the fight at any given time. So it'll be intriguing to see the response we get from Arsenal immediately and long term as well.
Yeah, you've got to have full respect for the way Manchester City did clinch the winner right at the end. But for Nottingham Forest, they made it so difficult for Manchester City. You feel for Nottingham Forest to walk away with absolutely nothing in this, because they were in this game right up until that moment.
Yeah, they certainly were. They're well organised, hard-working. You know you're going to get that from them. And their goal was as good a team goal as you'll get from any team this weekend or probably for the next month. It was outstanding. The goal, the finish and everything that went with it. So that they added to a decent game. It was really tight between both teams from start to finish. But you mentioned it before, and we spoke about it before, Resh. Cherki offers a little bit of stardust, a little bit of De Bruyne, and it was his pass that created the first and his finish that won the game.
Yeah, absolutely. How good is he now? Because they're not necessarily huge question marks about whether he could become the player that City needed him to be, but how good is it when you're looking from the outside and you're watching a player really come into his own in a side? Because you do have to find your way in a league like the Premier League. He's come from Lyon. He has had to sort of, adapt his game, especially with those lofty kind of ambitions and with those comparisons as well to the great De Bruyne. It says a lot about the character of the player to be able to sort of ease into his role on his own and do it on his terms.
Yeah, as you say, coming to the Premier League is not easy. It's a physically demanding league, it really is, and mentally demanding as well. But he certainly seems to, his stats are suggesting that he's going to be a valuable addition, certainly not this season as well as seasons to come. And his stats at this moment in time are proving absolutely invaluable to the team.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? Just a quick one on Ruben Diaz. He got a yellow card in the first half, didn't he? Do you think he was lucky not to get booked again? I mean, it's ifs and buts, isn't it now? But
yeah, if I was officiating on the game, I would have probably said he hasn't done enough from a physical point of view to get sent off. So the answer to your question is no, I don't think so. If you ask Daichi, he'll give you a different answer, I can assure you.
Exactly. And just a quick one on Daichi, because he's going to pick up his players now, and he is a master at doing that as well. Whilst it's really difficult to walk away from a game like this where you do give your all and then you don't get anything out of it. You don't want to keep saying, the performance was great, but this is an organised side. This is a side that he has absolutely drilled in his manner. And this is a side that you would hope that they can just build and build and build. They've only lost 4 of their last 12 games, and that's including this one. They do actually have a much more sustainable record under Dyche.
Yeah, and that's what I fully expected that he would deliver when he come through the door. I think they'll get better and better. His spec would have been, look, get us out the relegation zone and drive us up the league as far as you possibly can, and let's see what we do in Europe and the Cups. I think, he's delivering that at this moment in time. The one thing that I think let them down a little bit, I didn't see the real personal drive with the two wide players consistently enough. Hudson-Odoi one side, Hutchinson the other. They, as individuals, probably had to show a little bit more devilment and hunger to say, I'm going to go and put you on the back foot when we turn the ball over. It might be few and far between, but when I get it, I'm really coming after you. I don't think they've done that consistently enough.
Is that a confidence issue for someone like Hutchinson, do you think? Because he only just got his first goal, and actually he wasn't really fancied by Postecoglou. No, didn't really give him a chance. And now he kind of, under Dyche, is kind of getting the confidence and he can start to flourish, and that we might see that a lot more.
Yeah, but the confidence starts with yourself as an individual on the pitch. Dyches give you the biggest pat on the back you can get by picking you and putting you in the starting 11. He's not been in it for the start of this season. He's got in it the last few games. Your performances have got to say and suggest to people like me that are pundits, if you like, that know the game a little bit, that you are happy in the company that you're on that pitch and you're going to go after the opposition to put them on the back foot. I think in the first half he didn't do it. In the second half he's certainly done it a lot better. I would have liked to have seen that for 90 plus minutes from him.
OK, so still things to work on for Nottingham Forest, but we're going to now pick our man of the match from this game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Well, from Stuart Pearce, the man who, in your own words, knows a bit about the game, who would you say is your man of the match from this game?
Well, I'm going to give you a 3 in reverse order. My third choice was Foden. I thought played very well today and is showing me, which give me a big lift in regard to what's going on next summer and the like. He looks as though he's playing brimming with confidence at the moment. He was my third choice. This is tight between these two. And Anderson was magnificent for Forest. When you talk about certain Forest players that looked as though the game was a little bit, maybe too much for them, Anderson was totally the opposite. I'm good enough to be on the pitch. I'm one of the best players in England in my position, and he showed it, and he was brilliant today. But Cherky, I've got to go with him because he's assisted, he scored the goal, and he's got his team the 3 points, and he was the difference between the side today. And that's tough on Anderson because he was magnificent. But Cherky's got to be the best player. Yeah, with a goal and an assist, and on the winning team, Rayan Cherky is our man of the match from, our Here For It hero man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.